In this world, everyone has a tumor growing out of their head. And the moment emotions spiral out of control, that tumor explodes. To survive, Chang Mo has spent his life suppressing every outburst, enduring the madness of those around him. But today, something changed because of her. For the first time, he witnessed a different outcome. Instead of dying, the headless President Zhang turned into a monster. And it was that woman who pointed it out. The one who's been calm and rational all along is actually the most infected of them all. It all began when Chang Mo was 10. That was the first time he saw a tumor on his mother's head. He thought it was just a hallucination, a side effect of grief after losing his father. But then his mom started losing her temper more and more, and the tumor just kept growing. Until one day it exploded. It wasn't until years later that Chang Mo learned this was a disease, a condition known as emotion sickness. From that moment on, he never allowed himself to get angry again. But today, a single sentence from that woman shattered his control. Because for the first time, he heard the true cause of his mother's death. It happened during a company party at Skybound Studios' art department. Director Zhang Yanfei blew up over a seeded watermelon and warm wine, cursing at his assistant. But the assistant, Wu Jingjing, snapped back. "Then don't eat it. You got so many problems, just go die." That outburst sparked a chain reaction. "Can you all shut up? It's a party, not a damn battleground." Trying to calm things down, Chang Mo quickly stepped in. "Let's cool off. Director Zhang, I'll get you a new drink and watermelon." Jingjing, I apologize on his behalf. But without warning, Zhang smashed a wine bottle at his head. "The hell does this have to do with you?" The room fell into dead silence. You could hear a pin drop. And just like that, the tantrum faded and Zhang Yanfei regained his calm. Director Zhang clung to Chang Mo, apologizing over and over. Only when Chang Mo calmly said, "It's really fine," did he finally let go. As long as everyone calms down. Soon, the party was back in full swing. Laughter returned. Meanwhile, Chang Mo stood in the corner, quietly wiping blood from his forehead. Yili, a female co-worker who often flirted with him, blinked in disbelief. "That's it? You're just gonna let it go? You're something else." He gave a helpless smile. "What choice do I have? I'm probably the only normal one in this whole department. Besides, you've seen it too, right? The real reason they all lose control are the sacs growing on their heads." Right then, Director Zhang started another shouting match with someone else. And this time, the tumor on his head had grown much bigger. It was on the verge of exploding. Chang Mo sighed and stepped forward again, ready to intervene. But Yili stopped him with a sharp observation. "You don't actually care if they live or die, do you?" He paused, then replied flatly, "No. But if someone dies, it becomes a huge mess." The very next second, Zhang's tumor reached its limit. And instead of dying, he transformed into a terrifying, monstrous creature. That scene shattered everything Chang Mo thought he knew. The man arguing with Director Zhang shouted, "You think barking like a dog scares me?" Before he could finish, his upper body vanished. Instantly, chaos erupted. Screams filled the air as everyone scrambled to escape. But Chang Mo stood frozen, still trying to make sense of what he'd just seen. Why did Zhang turn into a monster? But my mom died when hers exploded. Yili noticed his daze and quickly pulled him away. "Come on, we got to move. Didn't you know? When the sacs burst, people don't die. They become emotion monsters, creatures completely consumed by their feelings. And through them, they can unleash supernatural powers to vent their rage and pain." "Then why did my mom die?" he pressed. Yili only said, "Just wait. You'll see soon enough." Sure enough, Zhang's head exploded again. And this time, he didn't get back up. He collapsed to the ground, motionless. The crowd stood in stunned silence. Did you guys see that? Director Zhang's head, it just exploded out of nowhere. Chang Mo furrowed his brows. "Wait, they really didn't see it?" Yili nodded. "That's right. Normal people can't see any of it. Not Zhang's transformation into a monster. Not the creature that devoured his head. None of it. And that is how your mother truly died. Just like Zhang, she mutated into an emotion monster, only to be devoured by another. To be more precise, she was eaten by someone who can control emotion monsters. These creatures are spiritually linked to their masters. Track the monster, and you'll find the one pulling the strings. Then Chang Mo's eyes widened. The man standing near Zhang's body looked familiar. Wait, wasn't that Lu Jia, my childhood neighbor? Yi Li's face darkened. Correct. On the surface, he's now the vice president of Langchao International. But behind the scenes, he commands emotion monsters to devour humans. This whole incident, all orchestrated by him. He spreads emotional viruses, drives people into frenzies, and once they mutate into emotion monsters, he hunts them down to feed his power. From the moment you stepped into this party, you walked straight into his hunting ground. And based on my intel, his first prey was your mother. Your mother lost control because he infected her with an anger-based emotional virus, then let his emotion monster devour her. The man who destroyed your family was him. But to Yi Li's surprise, Chang Mo didn't explode with rage. Instead, he calmly asked, so he only targets people who've already mutated into emotion monsters? Once she confirmed it, Chang Mo turned to leave. Then I'm safe. I'll never be infected because I'm always rational. Yi Li blinked in disbelief. That's it? You're walking away? He killed your mother. Aren't you going to do anything? But Chang Mo stayed calm. Charging in now would be suicide. And this was all just her word. Wow, you're disturbingly calm. But let me ask you, what makes you think you're not sick? Chang Mo froze in place. What are you saying? I'm saying, you're actually the most infected one of all. And in that moment, a massive tumor emerged, pulsing above Chang Mo's head. From the very beginning, Lu Jia's true target was you. The one he's most desperate to mutate, the one he wants to devour most, is you. Just then, Lu Jia casually walked up, patting Chang Mo on the shoulder. Hey there, little Chang. Long time no see. Look at you, all grown up. Chang Mo turned around calmly. Sorry, you must have the wrong person. Lu Jia chuckled. Haha, always the funny one. Come on, let's catch up a bit. I know this might sound rude, but could you do me a little favor? Would you mind getting angry? He said before suddenly driving a hard kick into Chang Mo's gut, sending him flying several meters. The noise instantly drew the attention of nearby employees. What the hell? Did he just hit Chang? I didn't catch it. What happened? Seriously? After what happened to Director Zhang, this guy starts more drama. Yi Li rushed over and helped him up. Are you okay? Lu Jia sneered. T-Sich, no reaction? You really don't give a damn about yourself? Huh? In that case, with a snap of his fingers, sparks began to flicker on the body of a nearby colleague. And in the next moment, the entire person burst into flames. The sudden blaze sent the crowd into a panic. What's going on? That side's on fire too. Could it be a gas leak? Lu Jia smirked darkly. I just burned your co-workers alive. Does that make you angry? Weren't they always nice to you? Didn't expect you to be just 18. So young, already working. Want me to set you up with someone? My sister's still in college. Or hey, if you don't mind, I could do. I'm only a year older. Haha, kidding. Or am I? Little Chang, let's grab lunch later, all right? Don't worry about the bill. I already paid. You're just starting out, after all. Even as they were being reduced to burnt husks. Their final words were, Chang Mo. One by one, they were all consumed by the flames, leaving nothing behind. But in Lu Jia's eyes, it was no different from squashing ants. They're all ashes now, and you're still not reacting? You really are something. But don't bother lying to me. I can see it. Your rage sac is swelling. No rush. Take your time. After all, I haven't even told you yet. I'm the one who killed your mom. Let's see how long you can keep pretending. Deep down, Chang Mo always knew he wasn't as calm as he looked. Whether it was his emotionally unstable co-workers or those random strangers looking for trouble, he constantly felt the urge to lash out, to tear them apart. But he never acted on it because he knew their outbursts weren't intentional. The guilt in their eyes, the regret after the rage, it always triggered memories from his past. The image of his mother, crying and apologizing after every episode, losing control, drowning in emotions. All it ever led to was regret. That's why he kept himself chained, repeating to himself, stay calm, stay rational. That's how it's always been. But now, what reason did he have to stay rational anymore? Why not give in, become a monster, tear Lu Jia to pieces, and finally avenge his mother and friends? It's not like he had anything left to lose. But then why? Why was he still holding back? Why hadn't he transformed, despite being consumed by rage? Yi Li's eyes widened in shock. You want to mutate? If you do, you'll be killed. And what? Not mutating means I'll survive. Chang Mo growled. Then I might as well lose it and go down swinging. Yi Li fell silent, her voice heavy with regret. I know it's hard to hear, but the truth is, you can't mutate. Not anymore. Lu Jia looked over annoyed. Seriously? He's still muttering to himself? What is he doing, trying to talk himself down? Fine. Guess it's time I taught you a real lesson. But his words struck a chord in Chang Mo's mind. Self-talk? Wait a minute. You finally realized it. In the next moment, Yi Li began to shift, her form fading, the illusion unraveling. From the very beginning, you were the only one who could see me. Chang Mo's mind raced, trying to make sense of it. But before he could act, Lu Jia's attack was already crashing down. Suddenly, Lu Jia froze. His eyes widened in shock as he stared ahead. In Chang Mo's mind, Yi Li's voice echoed. The reason you couldn't transform before is because the moment you saw me, you were already infected. Infected by me. And you became an emotion monster of rationality. Lu Jia's jaw dropped as he saw what stood before him. A creature bound in heavy chains, with a pitch-black void where its face should be. What the hell is that thing? Even Chang Mo stood stunned. That thing was his emotion monster? Wait, rationality counts as an emotion? And if I already transformed long ago, why could I only see it now? And this woman, I thought she was just a co-worker. But she's the one who infected me, the one who caused this change. Who is she really? As if reading his thoughts, Yi Li said softly, I know you have questions, but there's no time for all the answers right now. Just know this. Rationality is the most unique emotion of all. It has the power to suppress every other emotion, including Lu Jia's rage. And as for why you couldn't see your own emotion monster before, it's simple, she added. In this world, you can only see what you're aware of. Lu Jia's composure cracked. No, this is bad. His monster isn't clinging to him. It's standing far away. That means he's not a slave to it. He's like me. He's become an emotive entity, someone who controls the monster. But don't get cocky just yet, Lu Jia sneered. You think a freshly awakened monster like yours can take me on? With a roar, Lu Jia launched a blazing fireball straight at Chang Mo. But the very next second, his eyes widened in shock. The attack passed right through. Chang Mo looked just as confused, but Yi Li quickly explained, you can't control your emotion monster yet. That means it can't interact with the real world. Right now, it's more like a projection. It's not truly here, not physically. Lu Jia's eyes narrowed as realization dawned. So that thing's still trapped in your mindscape. You haven't synced with it at all. Chang Mo, you're dead. With another snarl, he hurled a second fireball. But this one was different. It shifted in midair, transforming into a flaming beast that bit down on Chang Mo's head. And yet, something was wrong. No matter how hard it bit, the fire creature couldn't pierce Chang Mo's skull at all. From the side, Yi Li calmly explained, because you've suppressed your anger for so long, your rationality has built an incredibly high resistance to rage. That kind of attack, it's like a tickle to you. Now, it was Lu Jia's turn to panic. You arrogant bastard. Don't get cocky with me, he shouted. He roared and sent the flaming beast soaring into the air, dragging Chang Mo up with it. Chang Mo tensed. His attacks can't hurt me, but I still can't control my monster, which means I'm stuck on defense. But Yi Li called out, the solution's simple. Just borrow power from your emotion monster. And in the next instant, under Lu Jia's stunned gaze, Chang Mo unleashed a blast of rationality, detonating the flaming creature into 1,000 sparks. Lu Jia himself was blown backwards, crashing hard into the ground. Meanwhile, Chang Mo landed effortlessly, completely unscathed. And in his hand was a shard of borrowed power from his rational emotion monster. Sharp, steady, and devastatingly precise. Lu Jia was in full panic now. I get it. He borrowed power from his emotion monster. But just 2 fingers and he shattered my monster? No way. He's a newly awakened emotional entity. There's no way. I need to escape. If I can just get off this boat, run. But there was no way Chang Mo was letting him go. In the next second, he launched forward, charging straight at Lu Jia like a bullet. Still, a question lingered in his mind. Wait, didn't I destroy his emotion monster? Then how is he still using fire-based attacks? Yi Li answered calmly. Emotion monsters don't die so easily. They simply stop existing in this world for now. Meanwhile, the chase had taken him outside, onto the deck. It was only now that Chang Mo realized they were on a massive luxury cruise ship, the world-famous Sea Emperor. And at that very moment, the Sea Emperor was sailing through the coastal waters just off Donghai City. Just then, Yi Li urgently warned, chasing down an emotional entity on this cruise ship is incredibly dangerous. According to public info, the Sea Emperor is a world-famous cruise liner. Its routes span the globe, and right now, it's docked off the coast of Donghai City, one of the hottest tourist spots around. After Donghai's waters turned pitch black from the oil disaster, only a handful of vessels were allowed in. The Sea Emperor is one of them. Skybound Group really went all out, huh? Throwing a department party here for your art team? But here's the thing. This ship isn't just a resort. It's run by emotional entities. They trade here, they live here, and they're served here. One of their premium services? Hunting regular humans. So attacking an emotion body here, that's like picking a fight with the owners of the Sea Emperor. And Lu Jia, he's one of their VIP elites. How powerful is this ship security? Put it this way, one finger from the wrong guy, and you're dead. So finish this quickly. If you don't, you'll never get another chance. And you can't afford the backlash. Hearing that, Chang Mo's eyes sharpened. He surged forward like a bullet, blasting toward Lu Jia with everything he had. Meanwhile, inside the VIP lounge of the Sea Emperor, a few guests were admiring a grotesque art piece made entirely of a young girl's bones. Victor Lee of the Wild Frontier Consortium stood proudly. Allow me to introduce this work, The Sad Girl. After her death, her skin was peeled back, revealing a skeleton that, ironically, appears to be laughing. The juxtaposition between death and joy gives it tremendous visual impact. He added with a smirk, but here's the special part. This isn't a replica. It's a real girl. And not just anyone. She was the daughter of a prime minister. Today, I present this gift to the Sea Emperor. Thank you for facilitating our most promising partnership. Captain Liu Yang responded courteously. Your group just secured the Stalnik market, and you already sent over the prime minister's daughter? Ruthless and impressive. Anna Chris of the Ugly Duckling Survival Club took a slow drag of her cigarette. I'd heard the prime minister was unwilling to cooperate. But this? Gotta admit, creative punishment. Miss Song Hui Wei, second daughter of the powerful Song family from Daxia, nodded in admiration. Say what you will, this is real taste. To become art of this caliber, that girl should feel honored. Zhao Yan, the bishop of the cult Black Chain in Donghai, chuckled. I'm curious, you're already eyeing Daxia? Victor Lee shrugged. That's business. Evolve or die. With the competition heating up, we've got to strike early. As for Daxia, I'll be counting on your cooperation. Suddenly, a voice cut in. My lords, Lu Jia has already killed Skybound Group's art director. But there's been a complication. He got cocky and tried to hunt a second target, but that prey mutated and is now beating Lu Jia half to death. Miss Song Hui Wei scoffed. Useless trash. If he weren't tied to that esteemed figure, do you really think a weakling like him would be allowed to hunt freely on this ship? Victor Lee raised an eyebrow. This esteemed figure you all keep mentioning, who is it exactly? Song Hui Hui replied coolly. For the sake of smooth cooperation, I'd suggest not asking questions. Captain Liu Yang chimed in. To overpower Lu Jia right after transforming, that's quite the talent. Fine, don't let Lu Jia die just yet. He's only a pawn, clueless as he is, but we owe that figure some respect. Also lock down the deck. No other emotion entities are to approach. Let the regular people run if they want. As for the one attacking Lu Jia, no known background? Wipe him out. Back on deck, Lu Jia was already barely breathing, bloodied, battered, and barely conscious. And just as Chang Mo prepared to deliver the finishing blow, Lu Jia cried out in panic. Are you insane? You're really going to kill me here? On this ship? Seeing that Chang Mo wasn't backing down, Lu Jia panicked. Wait, I was wrong. I'm sorry. Spare me, and I'll do anything you want. But Chang Mo's steps didn't falter. His eyes cold as steel. Lu Jia screamed, "Your mother? I know who really killed your mother. If you kill me, you'll never find out the truth." He thought that would be enough to stop Chang Mo. He even felt a moment of relief. Until in the blink of an eye, Chang Mo's claw tore straight into his arm. After venting his fury, Chang Mo growled, "Wasn't it you who killed my mother?" No, it's not what you think," Lu Jia shouted. "Back when you lived in Old Street, there was an emotional entity living there. He spread emotion sickness in secret, then hunted the newly awakened emotion monsters. I was infected by him. That's how I became one of them. But he didn't kill me. He helped me stabilize and made me his servant. He forced me to infect others, push them into transformation, then killed them. He harvested their emotion energy to grow stronger himself." Chang Mo narrowed his eyes. "Then who is he? And where is he now?" Lu Jia suddenly broke into crazed laughter. "Ha! He's someone untouchable now. If he finds out you killed me, you're dead too. He is." But right before the name escaped his lips, Lu Jia froze. His face twisted in pure terror. "No, I can't. If I say it, that man, he'll never let me live." Chang Mo had had enough. With a cold glare, he raised his claws, ready to finish Lu Jia once and for all. But just as the strike was about to land, a figure appeared out of thin air, a sharply dressed butler. His lips moved softly. "I command your heart to stop beating." In the very next moment, Chang Mo's heart seized, locked in place by an invisible force. His body stiffened, then dropped like a stone to the deck, lifeless. The butler calmly adjusted his gloves, then turned to Lu Jia and bowed slightly. "Apologies, sir. I arrived late." Realizing the butler was on his side, Lu Jia's confidence surged back instantly. He stomped on Chang Mo's head and sneered. "What's the matter, huh? Weren't you all high and mighty? Come on, kill me now." But just as the words left his mouth, Chang Mo twitched. In a flash, he shot upright, causing Lu Jia to yelp and scramble behind the butler in panic. The butler frowned, visibly confused. "Why are you still alive?" Chang Mo was just as confused. "What just happened to me?" Thanks to Yi Li's explanation, he finally understood. The butler had used the power of a pride-type emotion monster, issuing a direct command to his heart. "Stop beating." Chang Mo's eyes widened. "That's insane. Isn't that basically invincible?" Yi Li nodded. "His emotion monster is 2 major tiers above yours. You had no way to resist his command. If your emotional alignment weren't rationality, which naturally resists other emotions, you'd be dead by now. That man is an opponent you absolutely cannot defeat right now." Chang Mo frowned. "Then why can't I see his emotion monster?" Yi Li replied, "Same reason you couldn't see yours before. His monster is deep within the mind realm, the place where emotion monsters primarily reside. Your monster had lingered near the boundary between the mind realm and the real world, which is why Lu Jia could see it. But once an emotion monster sinks fully into the mind realm, it becomes nearly impossible to detect." At that moment, Lu Jia sneered and turned to the butler. "TCH, this guy's got some luck. Not dead yet. Even better. You know what to do." The butler nodded slightly and muttered under his breath, "I command you, kneel." In the next instant, Chang Mo's body buckled. He dropped to his knees without any control. He couldn't move. Not a finger. Not even blink in resistance. Yi Li explained quietly. "That's the nature of a pride-type emotion monster. The less harmful the command, the harder it is to resist. And with that level difference, you never stood a chance." Now, that pathetic excuse of a man, Lu Jia, strode up to Chang Mo, grinning. Without a word, he slapped Chang Mo hard across the face. Then he leaned in, mocking, "What happened, huh? Weren't you tough? Out for revenge? Your mom was just a bottom feeder. We emotion types can do whatever we want to her. And since you seem so curious, allow me to repay your little outburst earlier by walking you through exactly what happened the day your mother transformed. I remember it perfectly. The day your mom transformed, she was unusually calm. She wasn't under emotional influence. She bought groceries, cooked dinner, wanted to apologize for losing her temper earlier. Tomato braised beef, right? Your favorite. Too bad the whole floor was soaked in blood. Even the ceiling had splatter. The stew burned to a crisp. She became a target because that lord, casually joked, why not make the next prey that single mom next door? At first, I objected. Your mom was kind. Back when I was broke, she used to bring me food. But watching her unravel, watching you fall from peace into ruin, I started to enjoy it. That feeling of controlling someone's life, tearing their joy away. If I say she transforms, she transforms. If I say she's food, then she becomes food. Those words ignited something in Chang. Mo fury boiled over. He struggled to rise and rip Lu Jia apart. But the butler moved first, raising his hand, and Chang Mo's body froze mid-motion. Then came the next command. I order you, kneel. Bow your head. Apologize to Lu Jia. And once again, Chang Mo collapsed to his knees, his body betraying him, forced to bow and slam his forehead to the ground. At that moment, Lu Jia turned to the butler and said smugly, That's enough. Now, I want him to make the choice himself. I'm giving you a chance. Swear loyalty. Become my dog. Bark twice, and you live. Otherwise, D. Suddenly, Yi Li's voice echoed in Chang Mo's mind. So, what will you do? He was silent for a moment, then turned the question back. Shouldn't I be asking you that? You're the one who made me an emotion monster. You know too much about Lu Jia, this ship, everything. You saw all of this coming, didn't you? Staring straight into her eyes, his voice was calm but unyielding. Just tell me what you really want. Whatever it is, I'll do it. Yi Li smiled faintly and stepped forward, wrapping her arms around him from behind. You only have to do one thing. Accept my power. In the blink of an eye, the smug and taunting Lu Jia was blasted across the deck, sent flying by a terrifying surge of power erupting from Chang Mo. A crystalline formation shimmered atop his head. Something entirely new, something beyond emotion. Lu Jia and the butler both froze, thinking he had finally lost control. But what they didn't know was that Chang Mo's consciousness had already descended into a realm of pure void. Sadness, joy, surprise, excitement. None of it remained. All emotion gone. All that was left was cold, perfect calculation. His emotional sack materialized before him, solid, physical, and whole. But then it shattered into a million pieces scattered across the darkness. And from those shards emerged memories, warm, peaceful moments with his mother. Then the pain, his father's funeral, the coffin lowering into the earth. His mother's breakdowns, her screams, her rage, her smashed dishes. Then the apologies, her tears as she held him, whispering she was sorry. Then her corpse, cold, lifeless, and beside it, that monster Lu Jia, smirking like a god. But those memories didn't break him. No, they reforged him. In that space of nothingness, Chang Mo evolved. He became something entirely new. Staring at his reflection in the void, Chang Mo almost didn't recognize himself. This version of him felt foreign, and yet, right? Yi Li's voice echoed in his mind, calm and knowing. Good. Your sack held enough rage to anchor you. That's the only reason you were able to retain your identity when channeling my power. Remember this. When the moment comes, you must let go of your rationality. That's the only way to wield rational power. Otherwise, it will consume you. You'll become a monster ruled by logic itself. Now go and enjoy your revenge. As her words faded, the crystalline growth on Chang Mo's head exploded, shards of light raining outward like falling stars. Then came the blue flames, surging from his body in waves, until they collapsed inward, folding into him, concentrating into a dense aura that made the air tremble. But seeing his energy suddenly vanish, Lu Jia burst out laughing. That's it? All that buildup, and you just farted out a blue puff? What a damn letdown. But the butler didn't share Lu Jia's smugness. His expression darkened. He knew what had just happened. Chang Mo's energy hadn't disappeared. No, it had transcended. His emotional power had reached a level so high, they could no longer perceive it. At that very moment, deep within the VIP lounge, the elites aboard the Sea Emperor all felt it, a wave of invisible pressure washing over them. That pressure, It could only belong to a world-class emotion entity. Victor Lee narrowed his eyes. Didn't expect another world tier aboard. You think they're here for us? Miss Song Huihui speculated. Could be an ally of the one beating Liu Jia. Or maybe someone targeting that man directly. But Captain Liu Yang remained composed. No need for concern. It doesn't matter who they are. If they dare disrespect the Sea Emperor, even a world class won't leave here alive. Back on the deck, Liu Jia's face twisted in disbelief after hearing the butler's words. His level? Beyond our perception? Are you kidding me? Him? That weakling? The butler spoke grimly. I didn't want to believe it either, but it's the truth. You can't sense it, but I can barely see it. It's above us, like a walking cataclysm. That kind of presence, it's the same as the top-tier elites. That's world-class pressure. The butler yelled, "Run, now!" It was already too late. In a blink, Chang Yimou moved. And just like that, both of them were dead. Heads ripped clean off like trash. He muttered under his breath, that was too easy." Yi Li's voice echoed with a teasing tone. Starting off by ripping off their heads? A bit dramatic, don't you think? Chang Yimou replied coldly. You're right. I didn't do it well enough. I should have taken my time. Yi Li chuckled. Good. That kind of extremity is exactly what's needed to wield my power. But don't get comfortable just yet. The real show has only just begun. As she spoke, glowing blue emotional currents began to weave beneath Chang Mo's feet, sprawling outward like a ritual circle. He looked up, and there was a throne. Seated atop it, an emotion monster radiating dominance. Its form exuded a pressure that distorted reality. This wasn't just power, it was sovereignty. Chang Yimou stared at the massive being before him, his voice low and wary. What is that? Yi Li responded coolly. Ever wonder why this ship hasn't taken a scratch during your entire battle with Liu Jia? It's because this ship is an emotion entity. What you're seeing now, that's its true form. In a world of emotional energy, how much you can perceive depends entirely on your power. Right now, you're only seeing this because you're using my strength to barely pierce the veil. This is the real power behind the Sea Emperor. That throne-bound beast is the captain's personal emotion monster. At that moment, the captain stepped forward, radiating arrogance. So you're the so-called world tier brat who refuses to die. Let's change that. Then, in eerie unison with the emotion monster, he began to chant. Across the cosmos, between heaven and earth, all transgressions shall be punished. Let all things bow, let all obey. Any act of defiance shall be paid in blood. Chang Mo's eyes widened. He's using incantation to amplify his command power. The moment the incantation ended, the captain gave his command. By my decree, condense the space around the intruder. Instantly, a massive sphere of golden energy slammed shut around Chang Yimou and his emotion monster, sealing them inside like a divine prison. But it wasn't over. The captain continued chanting, by the golden blade, let judgment be cast. By my decree, within this field, all emotional energy shall be halved. A swarm of golden energy blades rained down, stabbing toward Chang Yimou and his rationality-based emotion monster like a divine execution. With a sneer, the captain finally spoke, pathetic. The elites in the VIP lounge nodded in agreement. That was fast. This world tears still green. Strange monster, though. Never seen that type of emotion before. Must be one of those obscure alignments. But with his power halved, even another world tier couldn't recover from this. It's only a matter of time now before the captain orders his capture. But just as those words left their mouths, a sharp crack echoed through the air. The golden prison around Chang Yimou began to fracture. The room fell silent. Eyes widened in disbelief. Even the ship's captain, stoic and arrogant, visibly flinched, his pupils narrowing in shock. In the very next second, Chang Mo's emotion monster tore through the golden prison like it was paper. With a sharp swing of his hand, a torrent of emotional energy erupted from his rational form, crashing down like a waterfall. In an instant, the Sea Emperor vessel was swallowed whole by the blast. The captain stood frozen, eyes wide, completely stunned. Now, only Chang Mo's emotion monster hovered above the waves, riding the violent aftershock. As the energy began to fade, the captain looked down and his jaw clenched. Half of his prized golden energy construct had vanished. He glared at the power rising off Chang Mo like a storm, fear finally creeping into his eyes. What the hell is this monster? He broke free under a sealed command? Did he come here for me? Or for the organization backing me? The thought barely lasted a moment, before fury replaced fear. Doesn't matter why he came. Anyone who dares challenge my authority dies. The captain roared, "Guards!" In an instant, the emotion monster behind him split into countless soldier forms, charging at Chang Mo like a swarm of ants. They surrounded his rational form from all directions. But no matter how many came, Chang Mo's emotion monster cut them down one by one, each slash an instant kill. The captain, panicking, shouted again, "Stop him!" Suddenly, Chang Mo's body froze midair. Just like the butler's earlier command, he was completely paralyzed. Before he could break free, dozens of spears pierced through his body with brutal force. But that kind of attack barely scratched him. With a furious roar, Chang Mo unleashed a devastating strike. The soldier army burst apart like shattered glass, obliterated by a single blow. Meanwhile, Chang Mo's emotion monster had slaughtered the golden colossus, stepping forward with a blood-soaked bronze blade, closing in on the captain. The captain panicked, hurriedly chanting the command, "Stop!" But it was too late. The massive blade struck him hard, sending him crashing down from the sky in utter disgrace. As soon as he hit the ground, Chang Mo dashed in like lightning. Yet the captain, a world-class fighter, recovered in a flash, regaining his composure. With a cold glare, he summoned his emotion beast once more and launched it straight at Chang Mo. Unfazed, Chang Mo had his rational emotion monster intercepted head-on. His strategy was clear: have his monster stall the captain's, while he focused on taking down the captain himself. 2.5 minutes later, their monsters were locked in a fierce battle. But Chang Mo's was clearly on the losing end. At the same time, Chang Mo himself was running out of steam, his breath starting to falter. The experienced captain instantly caught onto Chang Mo's weakness. A wicked grin curled on his lips. He's losing steam. This is my win. There aren't many places to run on the open sea. If I can capture him alive and uncover the truth about his emotion monster, that'd be a major win for the entire organization. Just then, Yili's voice rang beside Chang Mo. "Bad news. My power's almost drained." "What?" Chang Mo panicked. "What do we do now?" "What else?" "We run." Before he could protest, the chain linked to his rational emotion monster yanked him back. He turned around and bolted. At this point, there was only one option left: jump into the sea. The captain yelled in disbelief. "Is this guy insane?" "He's heading that way." As Chang Mo plunged deeper into the ocean, the true face of the world started to surface. The so-called oil-polluted deep sea wasn't pollution at all. It was the lair of a colossal sea monster. As Chang Mo turned his head toward the city, his heart clenched. What once was a familiar city had already become a nest of monsters. Humanity had been living side by side with monsters all along, without even knowing it. It was only now that Chang Mo truly understood. He used to think everyone else was just sick, but he was wrong. Not just the people. The oceans, the land, the skies, even the cities, they were all diseased. The captain noticed something strange. "What the hell? His eyes, they're bleeding?" "Wait, I get it now," he muttered. "The truth is too much for him. That power, it's borrowed. His own rank isn't high enough to handle it. Kid, you're dead." Just then, Yili embraced Chang Mo and whispered, "Close your eyes. You may be seeing glimpses of the truth through my authority, but your current self can't bear it. So now, let me take over your body." As her voice fell, their bodies began to merge. And once again, Chang Mo transformed into a towering, emotional beast. The captain stood frozen, stunned by what he was seeing. Chang Mo now commanded an enormous creature, charging straight at him. The Black Sea? He can control the Black Sea? That's impossible, the captain stammered in disbelief. But before he could react, boom, a monstrous form born from the Black Sea crashed down, slamming into the captain's emotional creature with earth-shattering force. In the blink of an eye, Chang Yamo had safely drifted ashore. Are you okay? Yili asked softly. Yeah, he replied, nodding. Just then, a strange phenomenon occurred. A pair of glasses materialized out of thin air and settled onto his face. Chang Yamo was stunned. What the hell? Why did these suddenly appear? Yili explained calmly. It's your subconscious at work. The glasses represent your rationality. Once your emotions settle, that rational part of you takes control again. That's when the glasses return. Taking a deep breath, Chang Yamo asked, Donghai City, and that thing in the sky. What the hell is happening to this world? The world has already changed beyond recognition, Yili said with a somber look. You were just too low level to realize it. The news claimed Donghai was polluted by oil. In reality, the contamination came from emotional entities. Years ago, a catastrophic battle broke out. A world-level depression entity went berserk. Her body turned into thick, black liquid, swallowing fleets of aircraft carriers and warships. That face you saw was her true form. As for Donghai City, these days, entire regions are ruled by emotional monsters. It's not unusual. That ship you were on, and even your own emotional creature, it's all the same. As for that thing in the sky, if I'm right, that's... But strangely, Chang Yamo didn't catch the rest. What? What are you saying? Yili looked puzzled. You can't hear it? That proves it. Whatever that thing is, your current soul just isn't built to comprehend it. If you try to force it, your mind will break. Chang Yamo muttered to himself. So, this is the truth behind emotional illness? That so-called sickness is just the tip of the iceberg. Yili's voice grew soft. I saved you, yes, but I also showed you the truth of this world. For a tiny ant like you, dying in ignorance might have been kinder. Because from now on, peace is no longer an option. Battle and chaos will follow you everywhere. She hesitated, then asked quietly, I'm the one who pulled you into this storm. Do you resent me for it? Chang Yamo gave a faint smile. No, actually I'm grateful. I know you've got your own agenda, but I've never felt this alive before. It's like I've been reborn. So tell me, who are you really? And what exactly do you want from me? I'm just a wandering soul, she said softly. For years, I've drifted through this city. No one could see me. No one ever spoke to me. As my rationality faded, so did my strength and my memories. I can't even remember who I really was. Only my name remained. I was like a dying flame without fuel, destined to vanish. Until I met you. That day, you bumped into me on the street and said, Excuse me, I'm going to be late. You're the only one who's ever spoken to me. The only one who could touch me. The only one capable of carrying my rational essence. If I was the dying flame, then you were the furnace that kept me burning. With you, I could hold on to myself. I could exist. That's why I got close to you. Why I pretended to be your colleague. Why I helped you investigate your mother's death. Why I fought with everything I had to protect you on the Sea Emperor. I will help you get everything you desire. Wealth, power, status, whatever you want. I'll make it happen. But in return, you must become stronger. Strong enough to face the truth in the sky. Strong enough to uncover what lies beyond. Because the most important part of me is up there. Let's start over. My name is Yili, and today marks my rebirth too. Chang Yamo. This is our rebirth. The scene shifts. Two figures stand on a sleek kayak, gazing out over the remains of the Sea Emperor drifting on the distant ocean. The woman asked, Did you figure out who that guy was? The man nodded. Surprisingly easy. Name, Chang Yamo, 18 years old. Works in the art department at Tianji Group in Donghai City. His mother died when he was 10, likely killed by Liu Jia. According to his company's annual medical records, he was just an ordinary person this March. The woman, revealed to be the second miss of the Song family, narrowed her eyes. Impossible. If he fought the Sea Emperor, he's at least world-class. No one gets that strong in just a few months. His power was probably borrowed. During the fight with the captain, his eyes started bleeding, probably after glimpsing that thing in the sky. If the power was truly his, he wouldn't have reacted like that. Interesting. To borrow power that can even control the Black Sea? Who's backing him? Didn't the captain ask us to look into this guy too? In that case, let's stall the report. Time ago, I'm not world-class yet. and staying up late is terrible for my skin. Miss Song, what about the boy? Don't worry. With the Song family's reach across the Federation, he won't get far. And whoever lent him that power won't escape either. This power will be ours. For our master. The next morning, Yili asked calmly, "So, what's your plan now?" Changmo's expression turned cold. Lu Zha may be dead, but the man he mentioned, the one who ordered my mother's death, is still out there. I have to find him. Yili didn't sugarcoat her response. That man is a dangerous one. A power hidden deep in the shadows. You're not ready to face someone like that. Not yet. What we need most right now is shelter. If I'm right, the forces behind the Sea Emperor are already hunting us. And I've burned through nearly all my power. If another world class shows up, we're done. And it's not just a grudge you've made. Your emotional power, what you showed back there, it's rare. Dangerous. Enough to drive entire factions insane. Just then, Chang Emo suddenly shouted, startling Yili. "What is it?" "Crap. I was supposed to go to work today. I totally forgot." He slapped his forehead. "And my entire project team's dead. Guess there's no project left anyway. Still, it would have been nice to keep getting paid without working. But now I missed my shift. I'm basically AWOL. Probably getting fired, there goes my salary. How am I supposed to survive now?" Yili was left speechless by Chang Mo's sudden panic over getting fired. It was only now that he truly felt it. His old life was gone. There was no going back. "Come on," Yili said. "We're almost there. The place I mentioned, it's just ahead." Soon, the two arrived at their so-called sanctuary. But as Chang Yamo stepped inside and saw the drooling, vacant-eyed people wandering around. "This is your idea of a safe haven?" he asked, dumbfounded. "Exactly," Yili replied calmly. They had arrived at Donghai City's second psychiatric hospital. "Don't underestimate this place," she explained. "It might be remote, but this is an official government facility, specifically for treating emotional disorders. And remember, Donghai is under Daxia's jurisdiction. The Daxia government is the strongest force here. People like you, who can control emotional monsters, might get recruited by the government itself. Besides, there's something special about this place. Too bad you can't see it yet." Chang Yamo raised an eyebrow. "Something special? Remember the giant emotional monsters you saw when you borrowed my power? One of them is stationed here. It guards this place." After that, Chang Yamo went to the front desk, paid the fee, and had his blood drawn. The nurse handed him a clipboard and said, "Please wait a moment. Your results will be out shortly." As Chang Yamo waited in the hospital lobby, his eyes scanned the surroundings. No wonder this place specializes in treating emotional disorders. None of the nurses have emotion sacks on their heads. Even most of the patients don't. That's rare. Then his gaze shifted to the man sitting next to him. "Except this guy. But the sack on his head looks different from the ones I've seen before." Sensing his confusion, Yili leaned in and said calmly, "You've gone through a real transformation. The more you understand yourself, the stronger you become, and the more emotional forms you'll be able to perceive. You used to only see anger sacs. Now you're beginning to perceive other types too." She pointed at the man beside them. "That one's from the joy virus. It causes the infected to smile uncontrollably. No matter what happens, they just feel happy." Chang Emo nodded slowly, piecing things together. Things were finally starting to make a bit more sense. Just then, a girl's voice came from behind Chang Emo. "Hi, are you here for checkup too?" Chang Emo nodded. "Yeah, why?" The girl waved her hand. "No reason, you just seem pretty normal." Chang Emo chuckled. "Aren't you pretty normal yourself?" She rolled her eyes. "Of course I am. My parents were the ones who forced me to come. With all these emotional illness outbreaks lately, they freaked out and made me come for a checkup. They even threatened to throw away my entire collection if I didn't. You know, I looked up this Donghai City second psychiatric hospital online. Everyone calls it Hospital Number 2. It's specifically for really serious mental patients. I heard it's divided into Area A and Area B. The ones in Area A, already totally unstable. And Area B, way scarier. Total maniacs in there. People so dangerous they have to be chained up." Changamo looked confused. "What's the difference between Area A and Area B?" Yili explained, "If I'm right, Area A is for those who are infected but haven't fully transformed yet. Area B is for those who have transformed actual emotional entities. Chang Mo asked the girl, "Then why'd you even come here in the first place?" She replied confidently, "Because if the second hospital turns me away, my parents will stop nagging. The first hospital might still take me, but the second? They deal with potential killers. There's no way they'd admit someone as normal as me." Soon, the test results were out. A nurse shouted while checking the names. "Zhang Quan, Li Gooden, your results are ready. You're advised to transfer to Donghai City First Psychiatric Hospital. Wang Bin, your prescription is ready. Don't forget to take your meds on time." The girl kept chatting with Chang Mo. "See, even those other patients who seem totally fine, this hospital won't admit them. We're way too normal. They'll probably just send us home." Just then, the nurse called out, "Chang Mo, Zhang Jieqi, come with me to complete your admission paperwork." Hearing their names, both Chang Mo and the girl froze. Zhang Jieqi yelled, "Wait, what? Why are we being admitted?" On the way to the front desk, the young nurse Zhou Yang smiled and said, "It's been ages since we had patients voluntarily come to the second hospital. You two are sharp. Choosing this place was a brilliant decision. The environment here is even better than a five-star hotel. Super comfy. All meals are prepared by gourmet chefs. You might not want to leave once you settle in. So don't worry. Just relax and enjoy your recovery." Zhang Jieqi still couldn't believe it. "No way. This is the second psychiatric hospital. I'm actually being admitted? Am I really that abnormal?" The nurse tried to comfort her. Honestly, these days, who doesn't have a little mental strain? Early intervention just keeps things from getting worse. Chang Mo whispered to Yili, "Is Zhang Jieqi a host to an emotion entity too? I didn't see her emotional creature. Could it be hiding inside her mental realm?" "That's right. Your current ability isn't strong enough to perceive creatures that reside deep in the heart realm." "Then how did the hospital detect we're emotion hosts just from a blood test?" "If I remember correctly, it's because emotional entities make your blood unmeasurable by normal instruments. Technically, your blood becomes unreadable. As for how exactly that works, I've never seen their machines in action, so I can't say for sure." As the group moved deeper into the facility, armed guards began appearing on the upper levels. The atmosphere grew noticeably tense. Suddenly, Zhang Jieqi froze and shouted, "Wait a second. This is Area B, right? Isn't this where they lock up all the psychotic killers?" She grabbed the nurse's arm in panic, her voice trembling. "I swear, I've never had thoughts of killing anyone. Why are they putting me in Area B?" The nurse chuckled and reassured her, "Relax. Those horror videos online exaggerate everything. If I don't make it sound scary, how would they go viral? Just follow the treatment plan. Everything will be fine." "Really?" Zhang Jieqi asked nervously. The nurse smiled and nodded. "Of course." But as her eyes scanned the room, her expression suddenly changed. "Wait a minute, you all. Why are all of you carrying guns?" At that moment, the guards on the upper floor silently took position, aiming sniper rifles toward them. Chang Mo's heart tensed. Did they all see it too? Is that Zhang Jieqi's emotional parasite? He couldn't help but ask Yili, "What happens to the patients who aren't accepted by the official system?" Yili gave a faint smile. "They're usually locked up. If they show signs of being dangerous, they might be dealt with on the spot. So, whatever you do, don't make any sudden moves." Just when everyone thought Zhang Jieqi was about to lose control, Chang Mo gently patted her on the shoulder. "Jieqi, take it easy. Relax. If you stay this tense, they might really mistake you for a threat and shoot you." Comforted by his words, Zhang Jieqi gradually calmed down. At the same time, the emotional parasites surrounding her began to fade away. She glanced back at Chang Mo and murmured, "Yeah, you're probably right." Then she turned to the nurse and said, "Sorry, I overreacted just now." The nurse finally let out a quiet sigh of relief. Her parasite has retreated into her mindscape. She was right at the edge of losing control and somehow pulled herself back. Yili looked at Chang Mo with a trace of surprise. "I didn't expect that. She's a total stranger, yet you still cared enough to stabilize her with your rational power." Chang Mo replied calmly, "I just wanted to look a bit compassionate. If I stood there coldly while she was about to get shot, wouldn't that make me seem heartless?" No way the authorities would recruit an emotionless parasite like that. But in the very next moment, just as everyone let their guard down, the nurse suddenly spoke in her radio. Fire. Bang. A single shot echoed. Zhang Jiechi collapsed instantly. Chang Mo's expression didn't even flicker. It was as if none of it had anything to do with him. Yili leaned closer and whispered, "Hey, show some reaction. You're looking a bit too dead inside." Chang Mo frowned slightly. Zoned out again. Another one down. How many is that now? It's starting to feel normal. But he quickly noticed something was off. There was no blood on the ground. It seemed Zhang Jiechi wasn't dead after all. That was a tranquilizer round. He sighed in relief. Tranquilizer? Yili chuckled. Nice acting. Just a little slow. Sorry, Chang Mo replied flatly. I'll do better next time. On the other side, the nurse instructed 2 staff members, take her away. Unidentified emotional entity, unstable state. Treat as high-risk containment. Thanks for the help. Chang Mo frowned. High risk? What does that mean for her? The nurse smiled sweetly. Just means we need to watch her a bit more closely. You weren't scared just now, were you? You seemed awfully calm. How about I run a quick assessment for you two? Just a few questions. Assessment. Chang Mo raised an eyebrow. Sure, go ahead. Did you come here on your own for the checkup? That's pretty rare, the nurse asked. Can you tell me what made you decide to visit a psychiatric facility? Well, Chang Mo replied earnestly. At first I started seeing things no one else could. These sacks on people's heads and monsters. Then I began to feel some kind of power, something invisible to others. He raised his hand and pointed to his palm. I think it might be a hallucination, so I came to get it checked. This thing in my hand, can you see it? The nurse froze in place, eyes wide as she stared at Chang Mo's palm. Well, that's unexpected. I need to report this right away. Without hesitation, she quietly stepped back and spoke in her radio again. Open fire. Bang! A single shot rang out. Chang Mo dropped to the ground. The nurse finally let out a long breath. What's going on today? 2 unknown types of emotional entities in one day. Scared me to death. Nice shot. Oldly right on target. Someone nearby chuckled. Good work, everyone. But hey, why'd we shoot the last guy too? He looked pretty normal. The nurse shook her head. Those are the scariest ones. I reviewed the hospital surveillance footage earlier. He hit it well, but his subtle body language gave him away. What kind of body language? He was talking to someone invisible. That's classic dissociative identity disorder. The personality he shows now seems mild, but the other one might be extremely dangerous. And his emotional powers, they're unlike anything we've seen. What's worse, when he used those powers, no emotional entity appeared. That means he's already learned to control it. A dissociative patient with full command of an unknown emotional force? Way more dangerous than that girl. We had to take him down immediately. The nurse let out a breath. All right, call someone to take him away. But before she could finish, Chang Mo suddenly sprang up from the ground. The nurse gasped in shock. What? How are you still conscious? The intercom blared. Target is active again. Target is active. Level 1 alert. Level 1 alert. In an instant, countless armed guards swarmed the area, surrounding them. Yeli sighed. I was just about to tell you not to get up so soon. Chang Mo's eyes narrowed as he made a firm decision. Well then, he raised both hands and shouted, Don't shoot. I surrender. I surrender. His calm and straightforward surrender stunned the heavily armed guards on edge. The nurse finally relaxed. Phew, that should settle it for now. Soon, Chang Mo's hands were tightly bound by a special chain. The nurse explained cheerfully, Yes, you've awakened some unique powers. But this chain suppresses all emotional abilities. You're no different from an ordinary person now, though I admit it's a bit unfair to you. Chang Mo glanced down at the chain, frowning in thought. So this is the chain that can suppress all emotional powers. But oddly enough, he could feel a strange energy surging from the chain and pouring into his body. Yeli noticed and raised her brows. Wait, are you absorbing the chain's energy? That metal was once infected by the emotion of rationality, she said. That's why the chain can suppress other emotion-based powers. But for someone like you, someone tied to emotional entities, this isn't a shackle. It's a full-course energy boost. Meanwhile, at the Donghai City Bureau of Emotional Management, Director Chu Weiming was on the phone, reporting, Miss Song, I found the person you asked about. He's been admitted to the second mental hospital as a patient. Since he's in the second hospital, he's under your jurisdiction now. Don't worry, Miss Song. I'll personally see to it that we bring him out. A sly smile crept into her voice. Well done. Chang Mo, not bad looking either. Before we extract that power of yours, we'll have plenty of time to enjoy ourselves. I can't wait to see that delicate face of yours twist in agony and despair. Zhang Jiechi was diagnosed with a strange illness. She could see handsome men showering from miles away. If she went too long without seeing one, eyeballs would start growing from her head. Nurse Xiao Lin grew anxious. Sister Zhou, she's losing control. We need to medicate her now. The head nurse, Zhou, held her back. Hold on. Let's see if she can suppress it with willpower. Zhang Jiechi screamed. I can't control it. Is it so wrong to really want to look at hot guys? Zhou's face hardened. No choice. Administer the injection. In a panic, Xiao Lin fumbled and dropped the syringe to the floor with a loud clack. What are you doing? You dropped it at the worst possible time. Just then, a hand reached out toward Zhang Jiechi. Calm down. If you lose control and become a monster, you'll never see anything again. It was the doctor who had just arrived. The head nurse quickly warned. Dr. Liu, we're being too reckless. Don't provoke her further. Just then, the emotional cysts on Zhang Jiechi's head began to tremble, and moments later, they disappeared completely. Dr. Liu praised her. Good job, Jiechi. I knew you could do it. All right, here's the preliminary diagnosis. Patient name, Zhang Jiechi. Exhibits obsessive fixation on handsome men. First symptom occurred 1 month ago after encountering a good-looking stranger. Upon returning home, she began to see him showering. Emotion-based ability suspected to be some form of clairvoyance. Tentatively classified as type 7 unknown emotional entity. Threat level low. Upon hearing this, Chang Mo muttered, So, your parents sent you here because you could see hot guys showering? Zhang Jiechi scratched her head and grinned sheepishly. Hee, kind of embarrassing. Dr. Liu then turned to Chang Mo. Patient name. Chang Mo, emotionally stable. Claims to see and manipulate things invisible to others. Initially suspected of schizophrenia. However, the patient insists he's just fond of talking to himself. Observed emotional ability includes crystallization through the hands and emission of blue flames. Tentatively classified as type 7 unknown emotional entity. Threat level moderate. Dr. Liu smiled. No need to worry. You're emotionally stable, and that's a good sign. Once we fully understand your abilities, you'll be discharged. But until then, the suppression chains stay on. Thank you for your cooperation. Dr. Liu walked over to the next patient. And now you. Sai, you're always the most troublesome. Patient name, Chunju. No abnormal behavior. No notable responses. Apart from irregular blood test results, everything about him seems totally normal. Well, almost. I mean, normal people aren't this vacant. Tentatively classified as type 6 unknown emotional entity. Threat level low. Still gives me a headache. Chang Mo glanced at the boy named Chinju, silently wondering. Is he a cognitively impaired emotional entity? Or wait, does stupidity count as an emotion now? At that moment, Zhang Jiechi suddenly burst out excitedly. Yes, I'm not mentally ill. I'm a superpowered psychic, and my power is literally seeing hot guys shower. Is this heaven? Dr. Liu quickly reminded her, don't get too cocky, Jiechi. Technically, all emotional entities are considered mentally ill. The only difference is whether they can control it or not. According to Article 4 of the Emotional Entity Confidential Management Law, the Daxia government has established the Emotional Entity Administration Bureau. Our hospital is one of its subordinate branches, responsible for treatment and containment to ensure you don't endanger society. Hearing this, Chang Mo raised a question. Wait, emotional entities are under national management. Dr. Liu responded sternly. Of course you're subject to regulation. If you're released and commit a crime, violating Daxia's laws, the Donghai Emotional Entity Bureau will come for you. And trust me, they're not as gentle as we are. If you even survive, consider yourself lucky. I won't be able to protect you then. Understood. All right then. If you're curious about the emotional entity management law, ask the nurse for a copy. Just then, a nurse shouted anxiously, Dr. Liu, something's wrong. Please come quickly. What happened? Don't panic. I'm on my way. Once the medical staff left, Chang Mo picked up the Emotional Entity Management Law and began reading through it. Article 7, Emotional Entity Confidential Management Law. The Emotional Entity Bureau has full authority over all emotional entities. It oversees dedicated treatment facilities, armed enforcement, and judicial branches. All emotional entities must abide by national laws. Violators will be arrested, tried, and sentenced accordingly. After reading it, Chang Mo frowned, puzzled. If emotional entities truly can't break Daxia's laws, then how did Liu Jia roam free all this time? Yeli said, Of course, everything appears fair and just on the surface. But behind the scenes, there are definitely all kinds of shady deals. The fact that Liu Jia got away with everything clearly points to the involvement of higher-ups in the Emotional Entity Bureau. As for how deep it goes, no one knows. Chang Mo followed up. Then how did you know Liu Jia was the one who killed my mom? Yeli replied, I accessed the police archives. The cops actually suspected Liu Jia early on. But later, the case was transferred to a classified department, and the investigation stopped altogether. That department? The Emotional Entity Bureau, of course. That's when Chang Mo suddenly realized something. Wait a second. Liu Jia's backing comes from the top of the bureau. And this hospital we're in, it's under that same bureau. Aren't we basically doomed? Yeli paused, then said, Oh yeah, you're right. Then she smiled faintly. Well, I don't really remember all the details. Before merging with you, my memory had been fading. I just knew it was risky, but worth the gamble. That's why I brought you here. Anyway, we're already here. The best thing to do now is absorb the power of this chain. For everything else, let's trust the me before the amnesia. Meanwhile, Dr. Liu was summoned to the office to meet with the director of the Emotional Entity Bureau. The director casually sipped a cup of coffee. Then, out of nowhere, he slammed the cup to the ground, shattering it. His fury was evident. Dr. Liu flinched and asked nervously, Director, what's wrong? The director threw a thick stack of documents onto the desk. What's wrong? You're really asking that? Take a good look at what you and your people have done. Outside the office, two nurses were eavesdropping against the door. Nurse Zhou muttered, Seriously? Does he have to throw a tantrum every time he comes? Nurse Xiaoling asked quietly, Why doesn't the hospital director step in? Nurse Zhou replied, The director? He can't do anything. That guy outranks him. Our funding depends on the bureau. Eventually, the director stopped meeting with him altogether. Now, Dr. Liu is stuck dealing with him. Honestly, the director shows a little respect to the hospital head, but he's downright nasty to Dr. Liu. She shakes like a leaf every time she sees him. Just then, the director suddenly stood up and said sternly, Last night, that man committed murder aboard the Sea Emperor cruise ship. And this morning, he managed to escape into your hospital. And you actually admitted him. Do you have any idea who's behind the Sea Emperor? Don't you know this man's a murderer? Don't you realize this has already escalated into an international incident? He fired off 3 furious questions in a row before exhaling sharply. Staring down at Dr. Liu, he threatened, Hand him over immediately, or don't blame me for what happens next. But to his surprise, Dr. Liu suddenly stopped trembling, her demeanor unusually calm. The director scoffed inwardly. Got her. Probably scared stiff this time. Can't even shake anymore. Just then, a droplet of blood splashed onto his shoulder. He reached up to wipe it off, but found nothing there. Thinking it was just his imagination, he began to relax, until more blood suddenly drenched him from above. And once again, it vanished into thin air. Still reeling in confusion, he tried to make sense of it all, but the next moment, blood reappeared, this time in torrents, flooding the entire floor beneath him. At that moment, Director Zhao's face was pale with terror. This was supposed to be a regular office, but he felt as though he were drowning in a sea of corpses and blood. What kind of emotional power is this? Dr. Lu Qingge. He recalled only seeing her during a few work meetings. Quiet, polite, always smiling. She seemed so gentle, so cultured. someone easy to handle. That's exactly why he came looking for her. But was this really the same person? Just as he struggled to decide his next move, the tapping of a cane echoed through the room. The director of the second psychiatric hospital, Yi Minxiu, had arrived. Director Zhao, what a surprise. Why didn't you let me know you were coming? As she appeared, the grisly vision dissolved without a trace. Zhao stared in disbelief. The sea of blood was gone. Yi Minxiu calmly spoke. You're here about Chang Yimou, aren't you? My team completed the background check. The man he killed, Lu Jia, renounced his Daxia citizenship years ago. He's no longer protected by our law. And since the incident happened in international waters aboard the Sea Emperor, Chang Yimou neither harmed any citizens nor damaged national assets. Therefore, he hasn't violated the Emotional Entity Confidential Management Act. Director Zhao stammered. Why, yes, but there's a lot of pressure from the Sea Emperor's side. You know who's behind them. The higher-ups demanded I give them an answer today. The dean tapped her cane heavily on the floor. Her expression turned cold. You're talking about the Song family, aren't you? Spineless cowards. Since when do we let foreign-backed vessels dictate our internal affairs? She turned sharply to Zhao. And you? Wasn't Lu Jia a prime suspect back then? How did he manage to renounce his citizenship so easily and still strut around Donghai for years? Are you blind? Do I need to report that to your superiors too? Moments later, Director Zhao drove away, tail tucked between his legs. Watching his car disappear, the dean snorted, Humph, trying to throw weight around with me? Dream on. Dr. Lu clung to the dean's arm with a smile. Dean, you were amazing just now. Whack. The dean's cane landed squarely on her head. Control your emotions. Do you want to lose control again? Dr. Lu pouted. I've been holding it in for years. Can't I breathe a little? Besides, I've been feeling more stable lately. The dean scolded. You're at your most dangerous stage right now. One moment of carelessness and you'll snap. Don't let your guard down. Yes, ma'am. Dr. Lu replied obediently. A moment later, Dr. Lu exclaimed in shock. So the world-class battle on the Sea Emperor really did happen? Even the polluted Donghai waters were stirred up because of it. Could the world-class being be Chang Yimou? Maybe his target was a ship all along. The dean replied calmly, I don't know the exact details, but Chang Yimou isn't world-class. According to records, he's lived in Donghai since childhood, with annual health checks. The latest one shows he was still an ordinary human. So it couldn't have been him. Which means, she continued, there must be a world-class entity behind him. Lu frowned. If that's the case, what's their goal? Did they clash with the Sea Emperor just to save him? And if he has someone like that backing him, why bother coming to our hospital? Her eyes suddenly glowed red. Don't tell me that world-class being's next target is us. Whack! The dean smacked her with her cane again. Stop overthinking. She turned her gaze to a plant in the corner. And this, I told you to take care of it. Look at it. You shoved it in a corner like I wouldn't notice. Lu protested. Can we please stay on topic? This is serious. The dean finally sighed and returned to the matter. Don't worry. If that world class was within the hospital grounds, I'd have sensed it. But Chang Yimou, Dr. Lu cut in coldly, I still say he's up to no good. We should have handed him over earlier. The dean gently held a potted plant and said, emotionals are like plants. Some can grow strong on their own, others need support, or they won't be able to stand at all. That boy is truly pitiful. Lost both parents early, forced to work young. Just as his life was beginning to show promise, he got dragged into a conflict with emotionals. That Lu Jia, by the way, was the prime suspect in his mother's murder. You think that's just a coincidence? Of course not. Hidden organizations and cults are known to select ideal candidates, especially those like Chang Yimou who harbor deep hatred. They lure them with promises of revenge and use that to buy their loyalty. Maybe Chang Yimou came to the hospital on a mission, but as long as he's still a citizen of Daxia, we can't abandon him. If he's going astray, we need to pull him back. Meanwhile, at the Donghai City Emotionals Management Bureau, Director Zhao immediately began investigating Dr. Lu's background. But the moment the result appeared, his pupils shrank in shock. Access denied. Insufficient permissions. Just then, a call came in from Miss Song, the second daughter of the Song family. Director Zhao answered respectfully. Miss Song, this matter still needs a bit more time to resolve. Please don't worry, I can handle it. Absolutely, I'll fully cooperate. Moments later, the call ended. Meanwhile, Song Hui was sipping tea with a middle-aged man. She said, Director Zhao Side will leave it to your organization, Black Chain. The master said that since that old woman is so troublesome anyway, we might as well bring the plan forward, flatten the second psychiatric hospital directly. As for Chang Mo, just bring him back along the way. The man stubbed out his cigarette, then responded coldly, no problem. The next night, in Ward B of Donghai City Second Psychiatric Hospital, Chang Mo sat cross-legged on his hospital bed, quietly absorbing the rational energy flowing from the chain. Yeli praised him. Not bad, not bad. Your rational emotion power has grown quite a bit. At this rate, you'll soon need the law. Chang Mo looked confused. What's the law? Yeli replied. Each emotional entity grows under different conditions. How to absorb power, how to control it, there's a whole system behind it. Without it, you'll lose control. That system, tailored to each emotion type, is called the law. You once borrowed my power and briefly reached world class, but that wasn't something you could truly control. If you want to master true power, you must follow the law's method, digest it step by step, and grow slowly. Your rational emotion power is accumulating too fast. Without the law for rational types, you'll lose control soon. End of episode 11. The law is a systematic method to harness emotional power. Once you've learned it, you can control your emotions and avoid losing yourself. And for rational types, the most basic law is to undergo intense, continuous experiences of other emotions. But Yeli shook his head and said, You already burned through years of stored anger. Nothing major has happened recently, and your emotions have stayed flat. So this method won't work for now. Just rest for today. Meanwhile, Nurse Zhou tucked Jiechi in while doing her rounds. Just as she was about to leave, Chang Mo suddenly asked, Hey, Nurse Zhou, you're a regular human, right? Then how can you see emotional power too? She smiled softly and replied, Some things happened, but it's all in the past now. You too, hang in there. No matter how hard it gets, it won't last forever. Yeli, hearing this, murmured, That kind of calm usually hides a painful story. In this world, just being able to see is already a form of power. That power either comes from rank, like when you borrowed mine and saw the truth of the world, or it comes from a mix of experience and luck. You need both. You got your glimpse of the truth after your mother's incident. You got lucky in a twisted way. So, if a regular person can see emotional power, it usually means something terrible happened to them. And if they see too much without the strength to bear it, that's a curse in itself. Chang Mo fell silent. At that moment, Nurse Zhou turned back. All right, I read your file. I have something for you. She held out a necklace. A necklace? What's this for? She smiled. It's not just any necklace. As he looked at it curiously, the bead in the center began to glow. It's actually a little light. It's small, but I hope it helps brighten the darkness around you. Chang Mo gave a small smile. Thanks. Then Nurse Zhou and Nurse Shaoling moved on to the next bed. Yeli teased, feeling a spark? That nurse is pretty cute. Chang Mo shrugged. What's the point? Yeli was speechless. I was going to say, classic rational type. But honestly, that mindset, you're the one most likely to snap. Suddenly, Zhang Jiechi jolted awake from her bed. Chang Mo looked over. You okay? Zhang Jiechi rubbed her temples. Yeah, just a nightmare. Just then, another scream rang out. Nurse Shaoling rushed over. What now? Why are all of you sleeping so restlessly? Before she could finish, the bed next to them exploded. Suddenly, a hand shoved her out of the blast. Chang Mo stood frozen, shocked by what he just witnessed. Zhang Jiechi stared in horror, mouth wide open. Nurse Shaoling tumbled back, hitting the ground alongside a severed hand. Chang Mo couldn't believe what he was seeing. It was like the entire room had been erased from existence. Shaoling stared blankly at the hand. Then, tears poured down her face. Sister Zhou, it was Zhou, the nurse, who had pushed her out in that final moment. And Zhou had been wiped out in an instant. Just then, someone crawled out from the crater in the floor. It was the patient with the joy-type emotion disorder. In the next second, his joy emotion entity emerged. Yeli shouted, Careful! His joy forms lost control. Joy-type entities can dissolve anything. The earlier blast was his doing. Another explosion suddenly went off to the side. Then the rooftop erupted in flames. Once things briefly settled down, Chang Mo looked toward the blast zone. Inside the ward, emotion entities were going wild everywhere. Nurse Xiaoling panicked. They've all lost control. All the patients. I need to call the security squad. No sooner had she spoken than a burst of gunfire, 2222, rang out from outside. Chang Mo said calmly, the security squad probably won't make it in time. That gunfire and these abnormal outbreaks, it's an attack. The second hospital is under siege. Nurse Xiaoling collapsed to the ground. We're under attack. How is this happening? Where's the director? What about her? Yeli chuckled. Too bad you can't see her. Your director is a bit preoccupied right now. High above the hospital, a blood-red monster was locked in combat with a shadow-black creature. Two world-class emotion entities were clashing in the sky above the facility. On the hospital rooftop, the director stood facing a mysterious man. Bloodthorn, hatred-type emotion entity? Are you with the Black Chain? The hooded man spoke coldly. I am the new bishop of the Black Chain, Eastern Sea Branch. Today, I've come to take your life and burn the second hospital to the ground. Crimson emotional energy surged behind the director. She sneered bold words. You lock your emotion entity in the mind realm and chose to fight with your physical body. That's the dumbest mistake you've ever made. The moment she finished, her body twisted, morphing into a monster. Meanwhile, back in the ward, Chang Mo asked, wait, the director is fighting a world-class enemy right now. Then the entire second hospital could be leveled. We'll be caught in the blast. Yeli replied, relax. Seems like both sides agreed to fight in the mind realm. The real-world damage should be minimal. But I've got to warn you, I'm completely powerless now. From here on, you're on your own. If you die, we all die. Nurse Xiaoling was still panicking. Where is the director? Why isn't she saving us? Why is this happening? Zhang Jiechi cried out. Nurse, please. You have to pull yourself together. You need to calm them down. But Nurse Xiaoling looked utterly hopeless. Calm them down? That's impossible. Absolutely impossible. They're completely out of control. Their emotional power will tear us to pieces. We're going to die. Chang Mo let out a sigh. Then he yanked the chain off his wrist with one pull. He placed his hand firmly on the head of the joy-infected patient. Just like that, the man was subdued. Zhang Jiechi froze in shock. Nurse Xiaoling was equally stunned. After a brief silence, Chang Mo spoke. Don't just stand there. Let's go. Xiaoling stammered. Why you? What did you just do? Zhang Jiechi waved excitedly. Chang Mo, that was awesome. He replied calmly. Nothing much. Just helped him calm down. Xiaoling gasped. Your emotional power can stabilize a rampaging entity? That's incredible. Earlier, Yeli had warned him, Joy-type entities can dissolve anything. They're the biggest threat to you. If his ability hits you, you'll be obliterated. Take him out first. Chang Mo had asked, dissolve anything? That's broken. How is that not invincible? Yeli replied, because emotional power isn't matter. If you counter with your own emotional force, you can block his attacks. Just then, a fireball came flying straight at Chang Mo. A second later, boom, it exploded right on impact. Nurse Xiaoling and Zhang Jiechi stared in horror, thinking he was dead. Tears welled up in their eyes. But the next moment, Chang Mo burst out of the smoke. The first rage-infected patient was calmed instantly. Then came the second one, and finally, the third. But by then, the enemy had already launched another attack. A barrage of fireballs, over a dozen, rained down on Chang Mo. As the fiery orbs came screaming toward him, he chose to take them head-on. Then, without hesitation, he pressed his hand on the final patient's head. With that, all three rage-infected patients were neutralized by Chang Mo alone. Chang Mo turned to Zhang Jiechi and Nurse Xiaoling. Are you two okay? Both of them stared at him in awe. Amazing. Not only can he stop emotion entities from going berserk, but his defense is insane too. What kind of entity is this? Suddenly, a splash of black ink dropped right next to Zhang Jiechi. They looked up. There was another berserk patient hiding above them. Black liquid was oozing steadily from his head. Nurse Shaoling cried out, "Watch out. That's a sadness-type emotion creature. It can drag everything into despair. But usually they don't move. As long as we don't provoke it, we'll be fine." Yeli chimed in, "Your resistance to sadness is low. Don't touch that black fluid. This one's infected by the Black Dong Hai, but it's still weak. No need to fight, just get out." Chang Imo nodded and called out, "Come on, let's go now." Zhang Jiechi suddenly exclaimed, "Wait, Chinju." They all turned to look at the collapsed bed. He was probably already dead. Nurse Xiaoling's voice trembled. "How did this happen? He was fine just moments ago. First Sister Zhou, now Chinju too." Zhang Jiechi gently placed a hand on her shoulder. "Hold it together. Right now, surviving is all that matters. And with Chang Mo here, we'll make it." Suddenly, someone grabbed onto Chang Mo's leg. "Damn right. With his brother around, we'll definitely survive." Zhang Jiechi yelled, "Huh? Where did you come from?" Chinju blinked blankly. "I fell off the bed while I was napping, then heard an explosion. So, I just hid in the corner the whole time. Anyway, enough talking. Let's get the hell out of here." A few minutes later, Chang Mo led Nurse Shaoling, Zhang Jiechi, and Chinju out of the ward safely. He asked, "Do you have Dr. Lu's number?" Shaoling took out her phone, only to find no signal at all. Chang Mo frowned. "Probably a signal jammer. And we don't hear any more gunfire. The security squad might have been wiped out." A few moments later, Zhang Jiechi and Nurse Shaoling were panting heavily, completely out of breath. It was then Chang Mo noticed his stamina felt off the charts. Yeli explained, "Different emotion types affect the body differently. Rational power boosts overall control. So yeah, your endurance is enhanced." Chang Mo glanced at Chinju. He didn't look tired either. "Were you always this fit? Or is that emotion power too?" Zhang Jiechi spoke up. "If there was still gunfire, someone at the outpatient wing might have heard it. Maybe they call the cops. Should we just hide somewhere for now?" Nurse Shaoling shook her head. "Actually, at night, the entire hospital building is empty. Only our B block has people. Everyone trusts the night shift because the director is here. We have to find her." But Chang Mo shook his head. "Looking for the director won't help. She hasn't shown up. She's definitely been tied down by the enemy. This hospital is isolated, basically a sitting duck. The enemy came prepared. Our only option now is to escape." Chinju was shocked. "Wait, the entire B block only has the director as a fighter? That's way too risky." Nurse Shaoling quickly corrected him. "No, it's not just her. Dr. Lu and our head nurse are powerful emotion types too. It's just the doctor's not here today." "Right, the head nurse. We still have her. She can protect us." Hearing that, an image of the head nurse surfaced in Chang Mo's mind. The head nurse. That woman who barely ever shows up. She's strong too? Like the doctor? Suddenly, a rage-infected patient lunged out from the side. But in the very next moment, Chang Mo calmed him with ease. Just then, Nurse Shaoling spotted something. Her eyes widened. My. She sprinted toward the figure. But when she reached her, the nurse was already lifeless. At that moment, a thought struck Chang Mo. Wait, how did the enemy make so many patients go berserk at the same time? Nurse Shaoling shook her head, baffled. "I don't know either. Everyone took their meds on schedule. Those meds, like the chains we use to restrain you, are designed to suppress emotional power. There's no way they all lost control out of nowhere." Chang Mo raised a possibility. What if the meds were tampered with? Since everyone takes them at the same time, the outburst would happen simultaneously. Shaoling frowned. "But the meds go through strict checks. And to make different emotion types go berserk, you need a specific drug for each one." Zhang Jiechi tilted her head. "What do you mean, specific drug for each one?" Shaoling explained, "You need to give anger-enhancing meds to rage types, joy boosters to joy types. Only by doing that could you overload them and trigger a loss of control." And all the meds were sorted by name ahead of time by the head nurse. The ward nurses just handed them out. There's no way an outsider could interfere. As she said that, Shaoling suddenly froze, her pupils contracting. "No way. Don't tell me. It was the head nurse." Chang Mo muttered. "It all makes sense now. The head nurse is the traitor. She coordinated from the inside, handing out tampered meds that triggered the outbreak. And that explains why the three of us didn't go berserk. Our emotion types aren't registered. She couldn't dose us properly. Let's move. And from here on, watch out for the head nurse. Moments later, they finally reached the hospital's main entrance. But just as they were about to step out, they froze. A figure was floating in midair. It was the head nurse. Zhang Jieqi tensed up. It's her, the head nurse. She can fly. Is she coming after us? Nurse Shaoling shouted, Why, head nurse? Why would you do this? Why betray the second hospital? Show! Mama, they're all dead. Don't you even care? But the head nurse remained hovering silently above them, saying nothing. Suddenly, Zhang Jieqi spoke up. Wait, something's off. She's not floating. There's something on her. That's when Chang Mo finally said, So, you guys really can't see it. She's not floating. She's been impaled by blood-red thorns and hung up there. She's already dead. Nurse Shaoling collapsed to the ground. No, no way. Chang Mo thought grimly. Silence, they took her out. Then he noticed more figures off to the side. But when he got a full view, his expression nearly broke. Floating in the air outside the hospital were rows of motionless security guards, frozen in strange, twisted poses. Only Chang Mo could see the truth. Each of them had been pierced by blood-red thorns and strung up in the sky. Suddenly, a cloaked man appeared, sneering. Chang Mo, there you are. In the next instant, countless blood-red thorns shot toward him. The image of the head nurse's impaled body flashed through Chang Mo's mind. Without hesitation, he swept his hand, unleashing a surge of blue flames. The flames roared to life, devouring everything in their path. The cloaked man scoffed, unimpressed. TCH, so he's just like the rest. Nothing special. Panics when attacked, flails his powers around, and I was told to personally bring him back, but as the flames died down, he froze. Chang Mo was gone. So that was a smokescreen, using the fire to cover his escape. Quick reflexes, I'll give him that. But you won't get far. At that moment, Chang Mo had led Zhang Jieqi and the others into a hidden room. Nurse Shaoling asked, confused, Chang Mo, what happened? Why'd you suddenly drag us back here? Zhang Jieqi narrowed her eyes. I think I saw red spikes sticking out of you. Shaoling blinked. Red spikes? I didn't see anything like that. Yeli chimed in. Nice catch, Jieqi. You could actually see the spikes. Must be some kind of emotion-based perception. Shaoling's hopeless. She saw nothing. Then her gaze shifted to Chinju. And now he's a real mystery. Even I can't figure out what's going on with him. Chang Mo silently pulled the spikes from his body, thinking one thing at a time. Focus on the immediate danger. He had no idea where the spikes had come from. And the moment he pulled each one out, it vanished into thin air. What's worse, at some point, the entire B block had become surrounded by blood-red thorns. Then, Chang Mo deliberately extended his hand out the window. He made sure it was exposed, within sight of the blood-red thorns. Nurse Shaoling tilted her head. What's he doing now? Just as Chang Mo started to think he'd misjudged the situation. In the next moment, blood-colored thorns began growing from his hand. He quickly yanked it back. Just as I thought, if they see you, wait a bit, and thorns start growing on you. And this time, it's worse than before. As he pulled the spikes out one by one, he muttered, What the hell are these things? Yeli suddenly remembered something. I think it's from a hatred-type emotion entity. But the details? No clue. Don't give me that look. I told you I've got amnesia. What? You don't believe me? Whatever. This isn't the time to argue. Zhang Jieqi whispered nervously. Why isn't Chang Mo saying anything? Nurse Shaoling replied. I saw in his file possible dissociative symptoms. You don't think he's having an episode right now, do you? That's when Chang Mo finally spoke. Let me explain. The entire B block has been surrounded by giant blood-red thorns. That's the power of a hatred-type emotion entity. Once those thorns see you, give it 5 or 6 seconds, and your body will start growing spikes until you die. That's how the guards and the head nurse were killed. I was hit by it too, so stay out of their sight, no matter what. Shaoling suddenly froze. Wait, I remember now. They're the Black Chain cult. We have internal files in the hospital that describe emotion-based organizations, and the Black Chain is one of the major cults. Over 10 years ago, they tried to destroy Donghai City. They even caused a powerful sadness-type entity to go berserk and dye the entire city black. After their plan failed, they went into hiding. All of them are hatred-type entities, and their emotional power takes the form of blood-red thorns. So the infamous blackened Donghai was there doing all along. Yeli clutched her head, frowning. Black Chain Cult. Hatred types. There's something important I can't remember. Ugh, memory loss sucks. Suddenly, blood-red spikes erupted from Chang Mo's body again. Spikes? How? He wasn't even in view of the thorns. And why is he the only one who's been targeted from start? That's when Yeli spotted a faint red dot outside the window. She zoomed in, adjusting her visual focus. Then she saw it clearly, a blood-red eyeball. I see it. That direction. Burn it with fire. Hearing her, Chang Mo immediately unleashed a burst of flame in that direction. The fire swept across the area in an instant, swallowing the target, followed by a piercing scream. What the hell did I just hit? Chang Mo asked, startled. Yeli explained, that was a condensed emotion construct, an eye. High stealth level, so you couldn't see it. My guess? The enemy was watching you through it, and that's what triggered the spikes. Before she even finished, more spikes erupted from Chang Mo, denser this time. There's another one, over there. Quick, burn it. Chang Mo fired again in the direction she pointed. Nurse Shaoling panicked. Chang Mo, what are you doing? Why are you setting everything on fire? Wait, are you losing control too? Zhang Jieqi quickly jumped in. No, it's not that. The spikes on Chang Mo's body keep multiplying. He's being attacked. Chang Mo kept casting flame after flame, burning down every eyeball Yeli pointed out. But all of it, every move, was being watched by the cloaked man in the shadows. So you can see my eyes of hatred, impressive. But too bad for you, I have plenty more. They follow like a shadow, yet leave no trace. That is the power of hatred. Struggle, resist, run. In the end, it won't matter. Your fate is sealed. Surrender. Just then, a wave of dizziness slammed into Chang Mo. In the next moment, he collapsed onto the ground. His body was now completely covered in blood-red thorns. Zhang Jieqi screamed through tears. Who is it? Who's doing this to us? But then she saw them. Hundreds, maybe thousands, of crimson eyes staring back at her. Her face went pale. She let out a blood-curdling scream. Nurse Shaoling looked at her, worried. Zhang Jieqi, are you okay? Don't tell me. You're having an episode too? What are you talking about? Red eyes? I didn't see anything. This has to be a hallucination. You're all imagining things. Yeli sighed. So, Zhang Jieqi can see them too. The eyes. But it doesn't matter now. It's all over. Meanwhile, Chang Mo was trying to process the sensation of the spikes. They were bizarre. They didn't interact with the floor or even his clothes, only his body. If it weren't for the real, stabbing pain and his total paralysis, he'd think it was all a dream. He asked Yeli quietly, I'm really done this time. You got anything left? Yeli answered calmly, Nope. Told you, I used everything back on the ocean. Chang Mo blinked. You don't even seem worried. If I die, doesn't that mean you're dead too? Correct, Yeli said flatly. You die, I die. But worrying won't help. Don't worry. No matter how this ends, I'll stay with you. Chang Mo was silent for a moment. Then he turned to the others. Zhang Jieqi, Shaoling, Chenju, you guys need to leave. I think I was the target all along. The spikes aren't growing anymore, which means they don't want me dead, just immobilized. They're trying to capture me alive. As long as you don't interfere, you might still make it out. Zhang Jieqi spoke up. Yeah, from the start, only Chang Mo was growing those spikes. But just leaving him behind. Before she could finish, Nurse Shaoling cut in, her voice distant, almost blank. Yeah, I should just run. But the very next second, she broke down completely. I can't. I'm scared. Please, someone save us. Anyone. Zhang Jieqi gave her a helpless look. That's when Chenju stepped forward. Without a word, he bent down and lifted Chang Mo off the ground. Chenju, what are you doing? Zhang Jieqi asked in shock that he answered simply, taking him with us. Zhang Jieqi rushed to stop him. You can't. Those red eyes are still out there. If they see us, we'll get hit too. The only reason we're safe is because they're targeting Chang Mo. If we carry him, we'll be next, and we'll never make it out. Shinju just smiled. Come on, be optimistic. How do we know it's impossible if we never try? Meanwhile, the cloaked man was still watching. Ugh, these meddling pests, such a pain. Too bad the high priest ordered me not to kill any patients or nurses. Just seal off B block and stir chaos. Once he kills the director, I grab Chang Mo and we're out. He paused for a moment, eyes narrowing. Then a twisted grin spread across his face. Screw it. I'll just kill these three. Should be fine, right? You chose the wrong side anyway. But just then, boom, a sudden quake shook the building. What the? I lost visual. That area's eye of hatred was destroyed. Smoke now poured across the room where Chang Mo and the others had been. And from within that haze, a crowd of berserk patients began to emerge. The cloaked man noticed immediately. Ah, it's those berserk patients. They must still be hiding inside that room. Suddenly, Zhang Jiechi shouted, "The red eyes, they're gone." Those berserk patients must have destroyed them with their powers. Without missing a beat, the group followed her and ran. While running, Chang Yamo turned to Nurse Xiaoling. "Xiaoling, do you still have a chain you used to restrain me?" She nodded. "Yes, it's in the equipment room, second floor." "Then that's where we're going," Chang Yamo said firmly. Yili praised him. "Smart move. If you absorb the rational energy in that chain, you'll regain your mobility." Zhang Jiechi led the group, scanning ahead as she ran. "Left corner up ahead, red eye. Go right." Yili whistled. "Nice. Her vision can cut through walls. No wonder her emotional power is eye-based." But suddenly, Zhang Jiechi came to a halt. "Crap. Red eyes ahead and behind. We're boxed in." Behind them, one blood red. I was closing in. And ahead of them, another floated steadily toward them. Zhang Jiechi was on edge, her body tense with fear. Nurse Xiaoling looked like she was about to break down. Shenju simply stared, wide-eyed, frozen. Then boom, explosions erupted both in front and behind them, flames lighting up the hall. Xiaoling blinked, dazed. What just happened?" Zhang Jiechi snapped back, eyes wide. It was the berserk patients. Their powers, they destroyed both of those red eyes. "That's insanely lucky." Shenju grinned. "Told you, gotta stay positive. Every time I think like that, I end up dodging disaster." Zhang Jiechi and Nurse Xiaoling slowly turned to stare at him. Chang Mo finally spoke up. "Shenju, don't tell me. Your emotion power is luck?" Meanwhile, the cloaked man was furious. "Why can't I find them anywhere? Damn it. Damn it all. It's these useless berserk patients." At that moment, Chang Mo and the others were quietly hiding behind a wall. Right above them hovered a hatred eye. Luckily, they were just barely within its blind spot. Both Zhang Jiechi and Nurse Xiaoling were holding their breath, hearts pounding with relief. But then, the eye started to turn. Xiaoling and Jiechi flinched in terror, when suddenly, a burst of flame whooshed through the air, blasting the eye to pieces. Another berserk rage patient had wandered into the hallway and spotted them. But before he could do anything, a flying brick smacked him right in the skull. The patient dropped like a stone, completely unconscious. And just like that, they made it to the equipment room, miraculously unharmed. Nurse Xiaoling reached for the doorknob, then froze. Crap, I forgot the key. But the moment she said that, cracks began to spread across the doorframe. Then, crash, the entire door collapsed inward. Everyone blinked in disbelief. Okay, that's way too lucky. Once inside, Chang Mo rushed to the chains and began absorbing their rational energy. Within moments, he felt a surge, his strength climbing dramatically. Yeli praised him. Not bad. After being ravaged by hatred energy, your body's now pulling in even more rational force. Nurse Xiaoling stared in awe. That's incredible. You can absorb energy from the chains? What kind of emotion type are you? Chang Mo didn't answer directly. He simply replied, I'm not sure myself. Chang Mo began thinking, looking for a way to turn the tables. Yeli, he asked, if I kill the one who ambushed us, will the thorns outside disappear? Yeli replied, yes. So, how big is the gap between us? Yeli answered bluntly, pretty wide, that he's not world-class yet, but you still wouldn't stand a chance in a direct fight. The world usually classifies emotion entity power into 6 tiers. Tier 1, standard patients. Tier 2, your old enemy Lu Jia. Tier 3, that glasses guy who backed him up. This attacker, almost Tier 4 at the top of the scale, is Tier 6, world class. You're actually below Tier 2. The only reason you beat Lu Jia is because you have a high resistance to anger-based powers. That said, here's the good news. Those thorns trapping B-Block, they're made of his emotion entity. They're loaded with power, meaning he's dumped about 95% of his strength into the barrier. His human body right now, pretty fragile that if you catch him off guard, you could kill him. That's when Yeli noticed the look Chang Mo was giving her. Half skeptical, half really. She immediately pouted. What? That look? Don't tell me you doubt my judgment. Chang Mo spoke slowly. Exactly, there's something I just can't wrap my head around. Earlier, you told me, the director is fighting a world-class enemy, right? That means you can sense the director's condition, am I right? Yeli nodded. Yeah, that's so what? Chang Mo pressed on. It's because your rank, your position, is higher. You can sense things we can't, right? If that's true, then we've got a problem. With all that power, why didn't you sense the patient's losing control? Why didn't you detect the eye of hatred attacks? Shouldn't that have been easy for someone like you? So, tell me, can I really trust your judgment? Yeli slowly closed her eyes, then smirked. You're sharper than I expected. Remember what I told you. In this emotion-driven world, seeing is one of the most important abilities. Normally, the higher your position, the deeper your understanding of essence, so the more you can see. Perception, it's just another form of seeing. But in certain cases, the higher your rank, the less you actually see, like when your field of vision is being blocked. Chang Mo frowned. What does that mean? Yeli gave an example. Take a dinosaur. Far more powerful than an insect, but it wouldn't notice a bug hiding under a leaf by its foot. Things like patient breakdowns or those hatred emotion entities, they're too small, too insignificant. Unless they're right in front of me, I won't detect them. But the director, she's world-class. She's impossible for me not to notice. It's like how a dinosaur senses another nearby, through trees shaking, growls, claw marks, or scent. Of course, world-class beings can train themselves to perceive everything in a set radius. That's how the director was able to protect the second hospital all this time. But me, I've got no power left, and half my memory's gone that I can't do that anymore. Chang Mo scratched his head. Oh, sorry. Guess I thought maybe you were secretly trying to screw me over. Yeli burst out laughing. Relaxed, I personally confirmed the hatred entity that's sealing off B-Block. I don't remember what its power does, but I know exactly how strong it is at a glance. Nurse Shaoling glanced at Chang Mo, confused. Why is he zoning out again? Yep, definitely has split personality disorder. That's when Chang Mo finally spoke. I've decided we need to kill the hatred type that ambushed us. Zhang Jiechi blinked. Wait, what? We're going after him? Yes, it's the only way we get out of here. And I'll be the one to do it. Jiechi, can your emotion power locate where he's hiding? Zhang Jiechi took a deep breath and activated her clairvoyance ability. Show me. The attacker's location. Show me. Suddenly, her eyes snapped open. I think I saw him. He's in the monitoring room. At that moment, the cloaked man was pacing through the halls, gasping for breath. Damn it, where are they? Why can't I find them anywhere? Just then, Chang Mo smashed through a wall, charging straight at the target. The cloaked man jolted in shock. Chang Mo's surprise attack brought him right behind the cloaked figure. With one swift strike, he pierced clean through the man's shoulder. The man's eyes widened in fear. What the? When did he even get here? Chang Mo cursed under his breath. Damn it. He dodged just enough. Missed the heart that can't kill him like that. Suddenly, four blood-red thorns sprouted from the man's body. In the blink of an eye, his body shattered. He split into 4 thorns and shot off in different directions. He turned into thorns to escape. That's a thing. Moments later, the cloaked man reformed in another corridor. He gritted his teeth. He said, I don't know how that brat found me, but I don't need to fight him head dash on as long as I see him again. I've got plenty of ways to make him suffer. Just then, the blood-red thorns began sprouting from Chang Mo's body again. But he kept running, never slowing for a second. The cloaked man burst into laughter. Haha, what's the point of running now? You won't escape this time. Behind Chong Mo, several eyes of hatred floated after him, relentless. The spikes on his body multiplied, crawling over him like a living cage. And then he charged straight at a wall. Crash! He smashed through it, bursting into the room where the cloaked man was hiding. The man's expression twisted. Damn it, I didn't realize he was charging right into my room. But then he sneered and clenched his fist. Humph. You think I'm afraid of you? In the next instant, the thorns on Chong Mo's body exploded outward, lifting him violently into the air, just like how the head nurse was killed. A spike even grew from his mouth, silencing him completely. The cloaked man grinned. Gotta admit, you're tough. Took all those spike hits and still kept moving. But this is where it ends. A blood-red whip of thorns coiled into his hand. Now, enjoy the power of hatred. He laughed maniacally, cracking the whip across Chong Mo's body. Haha. Every hit stacks the pain, again and again. The damage multiplies too. You should have surrendered. But no, you just had to fight back. Now you suffer. Don't worry. You won't die, that you'll just wish you did, 100 times over. After what felt like an eternity of agony, the cloaked man finally stopped. TCH, that should do it. After all those hits, you better have learned your place. Yeli stood to the side, quietly watching Chong Mo. Brutal, but honestly, that guy's using less than a tenth of his real power now. Still, wrapping all those chains around yourself. So when you're injured, they feed you rational energy to heal. That's actually pretty clever. And after all that beating, your body's starting to develop resistance to this tier of hatred energy. It's time to strike back. The next moment, the thorn shattered. Rational flame erupted from Chong Mo's body, burning away every last thorn wrapped around him. In a flash, he leapt right in front of the cloaked man. 2 fingers extended, glowing with concentrated rational force. The cloaked man clenched his jaw, eyes narrowing with rage. Then they clashed. The whip of thorns cracked wildly, slashing toward Chong Mo over and over. But Chong Mo countered each strike, unleashing wave after wave of pure, rational power. Chong Mo pressed the attack, while the cloaked man kept scrambling to retreat. What the hell? The man growled. This brat's emotional energy, it's not going down at all. And worse, my attacks are losing effectiveness. It's like his defense keeps getting stronger. Damn it. If this keeps up, I'm the one in danger. In a flash, he split into 4 blood-red thorns once again, shooting off in 4 different directions. Oomph. I don't know what you are, but I don't need to fight you head-on. 4 directions. You can't stop them all. Right here while I enjoy watching you die slowly. Just then, a burst of blue flame slammed into one of the escaping thorns. A blob of black ink struck a second thorn, eating away at it on contact. A red fireball exploded against the third thorn, incinerating it instantly. And the fourth was intercepted mid-flight by a shimmering energy barrier and shattered into nothing. Black ink fired at a disintegration barrier. They were all emotion powers from the patients. They'd all attacked together and completely blocked every escape route. The cloaked man's face twisted. What? That timing impossible. Damn it. No, wait. They don't have emotion beasts hovering over them. They're not out of control. What the hell is... But he never finished the sentence. Chong Mo's fingers slashed through the air, and in the next instant, the man's head was sent flying. As his body hit the ground, some cheered in excitement. Yes, we did it. Others shuddered, whispering, we just killed someone, while a few spat out coldly. Serves him right. Through the headset came Zhang Jiechi's excited voice. No way. You guys really took down the boss. Chong Mo, how did you even think of that? Making the patients regain their senses and come help. Chong Mo replied. Shinju happened to spot the intercom equipment in the supply room. That's how the idea came to me. But the real credit goes to you. Without your sight power guiding us, we never would have pulled it off. Zhang Jiechi chuckled modestly. Hey, you flatter me. Meanwhile, Yili fixed her gaze on the cloaked man's severed head and sneered. You people really lucked out. This guy died without ever unleashing his power. Otherwise, even if you all went in together, you'd be corpses by now. Dying without firing your ultimate, huh? Then Zhang Jiechi asked nervously over the intercom. So what's our next move? Chang Mo glanced outside and answered, "The thorns are already fading. We'll regroup and get out of here. The danger's not over. The dean is still fighting the enemy, and there might be more waiting outside." Zhang Jieqi pressed anxiously. "Then what do we do?" Chang Mo analyzed. "The second wing's comms are being jammed. That's why we couldn't make any calls earlier. We need to get beyond the jamming field. Then we can call Dr. Liu. The enemy striking while Dr. Liu was away isn't a coincidence. Only when he returns can we truly break this deadlock." Just as they prepared to leave, a furious roar echoed. "Bastards! Bastards!" Chang Mo snapped his head around to see the cloaked man's severed head floating in the air, screaming, "It's all you vermin! How dare you do this to me?" But as he raged, the thorny power outside began to fade, only to surge back, converging on him. "You insects! Even in death, I'll never let you go." In the next instant, countless thorns sprouted from the stump of his neck, lashing out like tentacles, whipping straight toward Chang Mo and the others. They had no choice but to run for their lives. As they ran, Chang Mo glanced at Yili. "Wasn't he dead? How can he still attack?" Yili replied, "I don't remember clearly, but he was dead. This must be a special ability of the hatred emotion entity. He's condensed all his power now. You're no match for him." Just then, Chang Mo ran into Zhang Jieqi and the other two. At first, the three were stunned by the horrifying sight behind him, then quickly fell in step, joining the desperate escape. Zhang Jieqi shouted while running, "What the hell happened? Didn't we finish him off?" Chang Mo answered, "No time to explain, just run." At that moment, one of the enraged patients could no longer hold himself back. He spun around and cursed, "Damn it! You just don't quit, do you? You really think I'm scared of you?" Flames erupted violently from the furious patient, and it was already too late for anyone to stop him. In the next instant, countless thorns shredded the enraged patient into pieces. Another patient, drowned in depression, collapsed in terror, losing control of his emotions. He clutched his head on the ground as streams of black liquid, born from his despair, spread around him. The crushing thorns rolled past, flattening him to death. Chang Mo shouted urgently, "Move! We can't waste time on them." Just then, Nurse Xiao Ling, an ordinary human, could no longer keep running. Yili warned, "We can't afford delays. We need her phone. Without it, our survival chances drop sharply." But in that unlucky moment, Nurse Xiao Ling tripped over a stone and fell hard to the ground. The thorn forest behind them was already closing in. Zhang Jieqi cried out, "Xiao Ling." Yi Li's face darkened. "Damn it! If she dies here, we lose the phone. Hurry!" At her words, Chang Mo dashed straight toward Nurse Xiao Ling. Nurse Xiao Ling was utterly consumed by fear. She cried out, "I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Save me, Chang Mo. Please save me." Chunju shouted from the side, "Brother, you can't save her. Don't throw your life away." Nurse Xiao Ling heard every word as she saw Chang Mo charging desperately toward her. Memories of her own failures flooded her mind, along with all the times she'd been weak. She squeezed her eyes shut, trembling. Then she recalled how Chang Mo and the others had fought and endured. And finally, that moment when Nurse Zhou had risked everything to save her. In her vision, Nurse Zhou's figure overlapped perfectly with Chang Mo's rushing silhouette. Nurse Xiao Ling clenched her teeth. She shouted, "Chang Mo, take the phone. Go! Don't worry about me. Call Dr. Liu back to avenge us." But when Chang Mo reached out, he didn't grab the phone. Instead, he seized Nurse Xiao Ling's wrist. With a powerful yank, he pulled her behind him. Then he unleashed his rational power, forcing back the blood-red thorns. Chang Mo roared, "Go! I'll hold him with the power of chains. Get out and call Dr. Liu now." Zhang Jieqi and the other two didn't hesitate. They bolted straight toward the hospital exit. The writhing thorns were locked in place, unable to push past Chang Mo's blockade. At that moment, Yili appeared behind Chang Mo and said coldly, "Well, look at you, playing the hero. You'll get us both killed." Chang Mo muttered, "Sorry, I lost my head for a moment." Yili chuckled, "Good that you're the rational emotion entity. If you don't go crazy once in a while, How can you control our reason? Try it. Absorb every ounce of power from your chains in one breath. Chang Mo frowned. Won't I lose control? Yi Li smiled. You'll never know until you try. Fine. With gritted teeth, Chang Mo began to absorb all the power sealed within the chains. As soon as he closed his eyes, the rational monster was summoned out from the depths of his heart realm. From that moment on, he finally possessed the strength to confront the hatred monster head-on. Meanwhile, two figures stood on a hillside, watching the scene unfold. The woman in black exclaimed, "The thorn barrier has vanished. That is Chang Mo's emotion beast. How could he possibly wield such power? When the world happened?" The woman in white replied calmly, "I fear only he himself knows the answer." The woman in black pressed urgently, "The situation has changed. Please act now." "Master Zhao, the fight over there isn't finished. If you interfere now, everything we've built will be ruined." The woman in white refused coldly. "No, our agreement was clear. I only deal with the world-class entity behind Chang, and Mo, everything else is none of my concern." The woman in black grew anxious. "Then at least use your world-class power to blanket this area, so no one escapes." Lighting a cigarette, the woman in white exhaled slowly. "That would still mean I'm interfering. No, I stick strictly to the contract." She added casually, "Besides, there's no need to panic. We're holding the exit at Zone B. You can just pick them off one by one. They're not getting out." Meanwhile, Chenju and the others had already escaped the hospital. Zhang Jiechi complained, "Damn, it's so dark. Are we really going to make it out? Maybe we should have taken a main road after all." Chenju shook his head. "No way we can use the front gate. What if the enemy's waiting there? The mountains are only shot. With our brother's emotion power breaking everything down, we can just carve a hole out the back and slip away." Zhang Jiechi glanced at Nurse Xiaoling. "Well, Xiaoling, got any signal yet?" Nurse Xiaoling stared at her phone. Still nothing. Then suddenly her eyes lit up. "Wait, there's a signal." A moment later, the phone chimed. "Sorry, the number you dialed is powered off." Tears spilled down Nurse Xiaoling's face. How could this be? If that's the case, then Chang Mo. But Chenju grinned, unfazed. "Keep calling. Things always work out in the end." Nurse Xiaoling's despair vanished in an instant. "That's right. With Chenju here, luck will definitely be on our side." Meanwhile, the battle between Chang Mo and the hatred emotion entity raged on. The patients who had regained their sanity were fleeing desperately alongside the nurses. And the clash between Chang Mo and the cloaked man had reached a fever pitch. The cloaked man roared, "Bastard!" At once, he manipulated the thorns, weaving them into a massive spearhead. In the blink of an eye, it shot straight toward Chang Mo. Chang Mo's eyes hardened, and he unleashed a burst of blue flames that reduced the spear to ashes. The cloaked man surged with power once more. Countless thorns pierced straight through the body of the rational monster. Driven by hatred, the thorns went berserk, striking again and again without pause. Standing on the rational monster's palm, Chang Mo fought desperately to block the onslaught. At that moment, the chains wrapped around him suddenly snapped. Yi Li shouted, "No! Even if you've absorbed the chain's power, even if you've built resistance against hatred, the gap between you is still an entire tier. You can't beat him head-on." Chang Mo demanded, "Then what should I do?" Yi Li's voice dropped low. "There's one last chance. Use your rational emotion power on his mind, the same way you did with the patients. He's been dead for a long time. It's only his hatred that keeps him standing. If his spirit regains reason, his entire power may collapse. Now, all or nothing. Bring him back to his senses." With a burst of determination, Chang Mo lunged straight at the cloaked man's head. At that moment, Song Mo's entire body was engulfed in a flame of pure rationality. The cloaked man, consumed by hatred, let out a furious roar. He commanded every thorn around him, turning their sharp points towards Song Mo. Within seconds, Song Mo's figure was completely swallowed by the writhing thorns. The cloaked man kept roaring madly, until Song Mo's hand suddenly appeared right before his eyes. Smack! Song Mo's palm pressed firmly against the man's face. As the power of reason poured into him, the man's madness faded. His eyes regained clarity and awareness returned. He blinked in confusion for a moment before whispering softly, "What is this feeling? It's been so long. To not be ruled by hatred, to finally be myself again." Tears streamed down his face uncontrollably. Laughing and crying at once, he shouted, "Ha! So that's it. Heaven hasn't abandoned us, hasn't abandoned me." Then he smiled at Song Mo and said gently, "I'm sorry for hurting you." Song Mo stood there, stunned by the sudden change. He thought, what the hell? That's one hella mood swing. But the next instant, the man's head exploded and every thorn around them disintegrated into dust. Song Mo fell from midair, landing steadily on the ground. "Is he dead?" he asked. "Yes," Yeli replied with a cheerful nod. Song Mo couldn't stop thinking about the cloaked man's final words. It felt oddly unsettling. Then Yeli pointed ahead. "Look, over there." Song Mo turned his gaze and saw a red, thorn-covered organ pulsing like a living heart. "What is that?" he asked. Yeli explained. "That's the core of hatred. Remember? When Lu Jia killed your supervisor, it was to devour this very thing. When you killed Lu Jia and that guy with the glasses, the same core appeared, but you didn't have time to collect it. It holds all of his emotional energy. Too bad you're not a hatred-type emotion being. If your rationality monster could absorb it, its power would skyrocket, and you'd be able to draw even more strength from it." "So that's it," Song Mo muttered. "Weird, why won't my power stop?" Yeli turned sharply toward him, her pupils shrinking in alarm. "No, this is bad. You're losing control." The rational emotion entity brought its massive hands together, as if to swallow Song Mo whole. "Losing control?" he asked in confusion. In the next instant, blue crystalline growths spread across his eyes. Calm as ever, he asked, "If I'm losing control, what should I do?" Yeli shouted back, "First of all, don't be so calm. Feel something. Fear, anger, happiness, sadness, anything. Remember what it's like to feel again." Song Mo whispered, "Fear, happiness, anger. What are those?" Yeli's pupils trembled. "No, he's completely losing it, isn't he? If only I could remember the law, maybe there'd still be hope. But I've lost that part of my memory. I can't stop this anymore." After a moment, she sighed in resignation. "Forget it. It was always a gamble anyway. At least these past days. I wasn't alone. Song Mo, looks like this is the end for us." Just as she was about to give up, a familiar energy brushed past her senses. She quickly turned and saw it coming from the core of hatred. With each pulse of that crimson core, Yeli's own heart thumped and sank. What impossible? Am I imagining this? No, this isn't an illusion. It's faint, but that's my power. Yeli's eyes widened with sudden hope. Song Mo, hold on. We're not done yet. See that blue energy? That's my power. If you touch it, I might recover some of my memories and maybe, just maybe, find a way to save you. Song Mo did as Yeli said and slowly stepped forward. Yeli watched him approach the core of hatred, her mind swirling with questions. Why does that thing carry a trace of my power? Could it be that my past is somehow tied to the Black Chain cult? By now, Song Mo was only inches away from touching the core. The moment his fingertips brushed against it, a burst of blinding white light exploded outward. In an instant, the light swallowed them both whole. The next second, a vivid vision unfolded before their eyes. Inside a grand cathedral, countless believers were shouting in unison, "Long live the High Priestess!" But the moment the woman on stage raised her hand, the hall fell silent. Her crimson lips curved as she spoke, calm and cold. "I founded the Black Lotus cult. I saved you all. But that isn't enough. To restore true rationality to this world, we must destroy Donghai City." Song Mo froze where he stood, eyes wide in disbelief. Wait, Yili? The founder of the Black Chain cult? He remembered what Nurse Shaoling once said, that more than a decade ago, the cult tried to destroy Donghai City, unleashing a monstrous sorrow entity that drowned the entire city in darkness. Song Mo stared at Yeli in utter shock. 10 years ago, the one who tried to destroy Donghai City was her. She caused the depression entity to lose control, turned Donghai into the Black Sea. Who is she, really? What is she after? Their consciousness snapped back to reality. Song Mo's rationality entity went completely berserk. His body sprouted jagged stone-like growths once more, until he collapsed helplessly to the ground. Yeli looked at Song Mo. Don't rush. I remembered something. I remember how to save you. She lifted the core of hatred and said, eat this. You don't need much, just one bite. It will save you. Song Mo stared at her, but didn't speak right away. He only noticed a faint smile tug at the corner of her mouth. The core writhed in their hands, and for a moment both Song Mo and Yeli were silent. After a beat, Song Mo exhaled, then opened his mouth. All right then. Too bad I can't move. Could you feed me? Yeli leaned in and placed the core in his Song Mo's mouth. He bit down and swallowed it. The next instant, Song Mo felt a surge of new power inside him. His body stood up on its own, and blood began to appear across his skin. A torrent of blood burst forth. Then thorns sprouted all along his arms, and even his feet erupted with barbs, his whole body bristling with spikes. Song Mo turned his head toward Yeli, who said nothing. Only that small, knowing smile remained. He was about to ask what had happened when the thorns suddenly surged outward from his body, and the stone-like growths that had encased him vanished. Song Mo collapsed to the ground, gasping for air. Yeli approached and cradled his head, resting it on her knee. Thank you for trusting me, she whispered. Song Mo managed a wry smile. Don't get sentimental. I had no choice. A queenly edge crept into Yeli's expression. Rest now, rationality entity. There's no need to run anymore. Song Mo said, so after all this fuss, you're the founder of the Black Chain cult? But you were supposed to have been missing for years. Can you still command them? Yeli replied, probably not. I remembered a bit. After the attempt to destroy Donghai City failed, the cult fractured. The world-class hatred entity that showed up this time was once led by Zhao Yin, the main opposing faction leader back then. If you'd fallen into his hands, you wouldn't have ended well. Song Mo panicked. Then what are you waiting for? Run. But Yeli replied calmly, there's no need. We can't escape anymore. The next instant, Zhao Yin appeared beside them. He uttered just 3 words, it's over. Meanwhile, elsewhere, the director of the second hospital was suspended midair by massive thorn vines of hatred. The director glared upward, furious. Damn it, get back here. The whole scene was clearly visible through a pair of binoculars. The woman holding them, an observer stationed at the perimeter, muttered, isn't the cult master being reckless? The director's still alive, and he went after Song Mo instead? The main target of this operation is the director. What if she survives? The white-clad woman beside her answered coolly, you don't understand the power of a hatred entity. She's been fighting Zhao Yin for too long. Her body's overloaded with hatred energy. For now, she's running on adrenaline, pure emotional overdrive. But once that fades, the hatred will consume her from within. Even if Zhao Yin does nothing, she'll still die. It's irreversible. Still, Zhao does seem a bit impatient. He seems rather interested in Song Mo, doesn't he? Forget it. We're done here. Beneath their feet lay 5 corpses, people who had tried to escape. At the same time, inside the Donghai City Emotion Management Bureau, in a tightly sealed conference room, tension filled the air. Dr. Liu finally lost her patience. How long is this damn meeting going to drag on? She reached for her phone to sneak a break, but someone stopped her. Dr. Liu, this is a classified meeting. Please keep your phone off. Dr. Liu gritted her teeth. Oh, just because there's more of you, I can't do anything about it, huh? The man replied flatly, endure it. We're all emotion entities here. Can't you handle a little discomfort? Suddenly, Dr. Liu stood up. The bureau chief tensed immediately. Dr. Liu, where are you going? The bathroom, all right? Or do you plan to follow me there too? The chief had no comeback. Moments later, Dr. Liu finally pulled out her phone inside the women's restroom stall. Seriously, if this meeting keeps going, I'm going to lose control. Just as she powered it on, Nurse Xiaoling's call came through. Dr. Liu answered. Her pupils shrank sharply. What? The second hospital was attacked? The guards are all dead, and the director's been captured. Dr. Liu flung the window open, her gaze locking onto the direction of the second hospital. She quickly channeled her emotional energy into her eyes. A red glow spread across her pupils as her vision stretched outward, slicing through the skyline straight toward the hospital. In the next second, the two familiar towers of the second hospital came into view. The director's emotion entity still floated high above the complex like a colossal guardian shadow. Dr. Liu let out a small breath. Good, the director's monster is still there. Maybe it's not as bad as I thought. But the relief lasted only a heartbeat. Wait, what's that? The entity's entire body suddenly erupted in writhing black thorns. Dr. Liu's pupils turned crimson. Damn it! With a deafening boom, the restroom wall exploded outward. From a meeting room came a chorus of screams. What happened? Did something blow up? The bureau chief's face went pale. This is bad. He bolted out of the conference room. The next thing he saw was a gaping hole in the wall and a red blur shooting into the sky. Cold sweat trickled down his temples. Dr. Liu had already transformed into a gigantic crimson bird with wings spanning 100 meters. She tore through the clouds at blinding speed, heading straight for the second hospital. Tianji Entertainment, Donghai City HQ. A man by the window stared at the crimson streak. Who the hell is that? Showing off like that in broad daylight. Wait, that direction, toward the second hospital? Is she starting a fight? No, something's wrong there. His expression hardened. That aura, hatred entity. The Black Chain cult is attacking the hospital. Langshao International Donghai branch. An old man looked out the window and snorted. Another unknown entity? This city just can't stay quiet. Meanwhile, people on the streets were frozen, staring up at the blood-red sky. Those attuned to emotional power could barely stay standing under the pressure, while others ducked for cover, trembling. A girl with a guitar on her back also spotted Dr. Liu. She simply let out a soft hum. Meanwhile, Nurse Xiaoling wasn't sure if Dr. Liu could make in time. Chen comforted her. Don't worry. She'll be fine. Suddenly, Xiaoling thought of something. Right? Zhang Jieqi. You can see what you want to see, can't you? Try to look at Song Mo's situation. Oh, right. I'll try. Zhang Jieqi focused her mind intensely. Moments later, she saw Song Mo being captured by the cult master of the Black Chain. She gasped, oh no, Song Mo's being taken. The next second, the vision in her mind turned crimson. Blood began to flow from her eyes. Zhang Jieqi screamed, clutching at them in pain. Jieqi, are you okay? Xiaoling cried out, my eyes, they hurt. A moment later, the room around them was swallowed by a red glow. The cult master of the Black Chain raised his head toward the sky. Within several kilometers around the second hospital, everything turned into a world of flowing blood. His pupils narrowed. She's here. In the next instant, his hand was sliced clean off, spinning through the air. Out of the crimson storm appeared a blonde woman wearing glasses, Dr. Liu, who had finally arrived. The Black Chain cult leader's arm was severed and sent flying. So fast he didn't even register in time. He gritted his teeth. That doctor, so strong. In the next instant, he dissolved into dozens of crimson thorns and scattered in every direction. Dr. Liu extended a hand toward the fleeing thorns. A heartbeat later, the sky erupted into a rain of spears. The escaping blood-red thorns were pierced and shot down one after another. Yet a few strands still slipped through, reaching the red barrier and drilling forward, only to find it impenetrable. The cult leader gasped at a barrier-like space. Dr. Liu's gaze sharpened like a blade. She stomped the ground and shot forward, swinging her scythe to cleave the remaining thorns apart. Feeling a lethal crisis closing in, the cult leader manifested even more blood-red thorns to block her path. Dr. Liu showed not a trace of fear. Her scythe whipped before her in rapid arcs, slicing through the thorns like wheat falling before a sickle. The Black Chain cult leader kept struggling to tear open the barrier. Gritting his teeth again, he unleashed all his strength, finally ripping a gap in the boundary. It worked. He bolted toward the opening to escape, but Dr. Liu was already closing in behind him. He realized with dread, the barrier was repairing itself. If this continued, he'd never get out. He shouted back, shouldn't you check on your director first? Dr. Liu hesitated, a trace of clarity returning to her eyes. She clenched her jaw and turned back abruptly. She lifted the collapsed Chong Mo from the ground. then flew toward where the director was pinned. Seeing the director suspended in the air by blood-red thorns, she swung her scythe and shattered the thorns in an instant. Then she carried both the director and Chang Mo to an open area. Dr. Liu grabbed her phone and roared furiously, "Damn it! Why is the emotion administration so damn slow?" A weak voice came from the ground. The director whispered, "Qingji, don't waste your strength that I'm too old." But now, I finally feel calm. It seems that only at the edge of death can a person truly break free from emotion. Hearing this, tears streamed uncontrollably down Dr. Liu's face. In the next instant, a terrifying killing intent exploded from her. "I'll kill him and everyone behind him. The Black Chain Cult. I will kill them all." Chang Mo was shocked by the overwhelming murderous aura. The killing intent spread outward, enveloping the entire second hospital. Chunju and the other weaker emotion-born beings trembled violently. Only Nurse Xiaoling, a normal human, remained barely steady. Even the 3 Black Chain members who had fled far away shuddered. "What the? We can feel her killing intent even from here." Dr. Liu kept muttering, I'll kill them all." Then a frail but gentle hand touched her cheek. "Qingji, control your emotions. Don't let my efforts go to waste. Come closer after I'm gone. That kid Chang Mo will need you to look after him." Dr. Liu sobbed uncontrollably. "Director, no. You'll be fine. You'll be fine." The director sighed softly. You're still just a child. Qingji, from here on, you'll have to walk your own path." As he finished speaking, his hand slipped from hers. Dr. Liu's pupils constricted sharply. The director closed his eyes, his breath fading completely. A heart-piercing scream echoed across the entire hospital. "Director." Soon after, Dr. Liu found Xiaoling the nurse and the others in the forest, with Chang Mo by her side. Not far away, they also discovered 4 more survivors. Meanwhile, agents from the Emotion Management Bureau arrived at the second hospital. Even the bureau chief was stunned by the devastation before his eyes. Later, Dr. Liu located the head nurse's corpse among the ruins. The head nurse's eyes were rolled back, mouth frozen wide open in terror. Dr. Liu's pupils tightened as she stared blankly at the lifeless body. Slowly, she clenched her fists. The next day, at Donghai First Psychiatric Hospital, Dr. Liu said to Chang Mo and the other 2, "Go get some rest. Especially you, Chang Mo. You're still injured, yet you're helping everywhere. Don't worry, this is downtown Donghai. It's safe." After that, Chunju and the others waved goodbye and headed off to rest. At that moment, the young man standing beside Chang Mo seemed hesitant, as if wanting to say something. Seeing him struggle to speak, Chang Mo asked, "What's wrong?" "Well, right. My name is Liu Xinliang. I heard you can stabilize emotion-born beings and suppress emotional power, right?" "More or less." "Then help me out, please." At his request, Chang Mo gently placed his hand on Liu Xinliang's head, helping him suppress his emotional power. After a moment, Chang Mo withdrew his hand and said it was done. Liu Xinliang froze for a second, as his real emotions returned. The next instant, he broke down, crying in unbearable agony. Chang Mo watched him suddenly collapse into tears, confused. He stepped forward and asked softly, "Hey, you okay, man?" Liu Xinliang choked out, "Sister Zhou. I killed Sister Zhou." Chang Mo finally remembered. "Yes, last night, it was him." Chang Mo quickly tried to comfort him. "Let it go. You didn't do it on purpose. She's already gone. Crying won't change anything." But Liu Xinliang only cried harder. "Don't comfort me. I deserve to die. I'd secretly liked Sister Zhou for so long. Last night, I went to confess to her, but I ended up killing her. She was so good to me, and I killed her. And just now, I didn't even feel sad. I even laughed. Damn it, I actually laughed." "Chang Mo, do you think I'm still human? Maybe I should just die." Watching him fall apart, Chang Mo actually felt it was a bit over the top, but decided to help anyway. He took out the pendant Sister Zhou had entrusted to him. "She asked me to give this to you, and she left you a message. She said she hoped this little light could brighten the darkness around you." Chang Mo repeated the exact words she told him when she handed over the project. Liu Xinliang stopped crying, that he simply stared blankly at the pendant in his hands. Then Chang Mo placed the pendant into Lu Xinliang's hand. Lu Xinliang instinctively tightened his grip around it. He choked out, "Chang Mo, thank you." The next day, when Chang Mo opened Lu Xinliang's room, what he saw was a body hanging from the ceiling. He held a note in his hand. On it were the words, "I started laughing again. Sorry, I can't forgive a version of myself who killed Sister Zhou and still felt happy." Chang Mo said calmly, "Was this necessary?" Yeli responded, "For most people, death is the only way to escape the control of emotion." Yeli added softly, "Chang Mo, haven't you noticed? You're the same." Meanwhile, a woman was making a phone call on a mountain road. "Miss Song, don't worry that I'll reach the city soon. Thanks for everything. Freedom feels wonderful. It's just a shame Chang Mo wasn't brought back, Dudum. Miss Anna will handle things after this. Keep the plan moving that I'm no longer the head nurse. I don't have to hold back anymore." That woman was none other than the former head nurse of Donghai Second Psychiatric Hospital, Yin Bei, in a private manor owned by the Song family of Donghai City. Miss Song walked in from outside. "Master Zhao, thank you for your hard work this time. Once everything is complete, we will keep our promise." Master Zhao replied absent-mindedly, because one thought echoed in his mind. "Yeli, you're alive." Yinjing, Daxia, Central Bureau of Emotional Entities, Arbitration Court Number 1. The judge announced the verdict. Chunlu, on new calendar year 1225, in Jinggang City, improperly used emotional power, causing 17 serious injuries and heavy damage to public facilities. Final ruling, permanent imprisonment, effective immediately. The gavel struck, ending the trial. Chun Li's emotions exploded at once. "Are you kidding me? I object. I didn't do it on purpose. Why should I be punished like this? Do you know who I am? I'm a provincial-level emotional entity, and the company behind me is Qianji. You can't treat me like this. I want to appeal. I want to appeal." The judge replied coldly, "I'm sorry. Any ruling made by the Central Bureau is final. Take him away." As the bailiffs moved in, Chun Lu erupted again. "I said I don't accept this." A massive emotional entity appeared above his head. But the next moment, an even larger emotional entity manifested above his, pressing down with overwhelming force. Chun Lu froze instantly, unable to move. The judge warned, "Let me remind you, any attempt at resistance will result in your immediate termination." Chun Li's heartbeat surged, cold sweat soaking through his clothes. Moments later, he was escorted out of the court. A juror whispered in awe, "That was incredible. Even a provincial-level entity had to submit." The judge answered calmly, "Of course. This is the central headquarters, the supreme authority over emotional entities in Daxia. Even national-level entities must obey the law here." The juror continued, "The case is wrapped up. When do we report to Elder CI?" "Wait a bit," someone said. "Elder CI is still in a meeting. The highest authority meeting on emotional entities in Daxia. This weekly assembly, which decides the fate of all emotional entities in Daxia, is known as the Circle Council. The Donghai City incident has caused too much impact. Since we can't reach agreement on the previous topic, let's move to the next one. That how should we deal with these 3 individuals? Oh, they look young. There's still patients, aren't they? Normally, these 3 wouldn't even qualify to be mentioned in this council. But since this concerns the second hospital attack, we should still discuss it. According to the reports, C.I. Ming said, "These 3 contributed greatly in this incident that I propose awarding them the bronze medal, along with a certain amount of emotional resources, and also bringing them into the Donghai City Management Bureau for training. What do you all think?" Jie Guan replied, "No objections." Duan Xuan added, "No objections for me either." The council leader, Wei Shouzhua, paused for a moment before turning to ask, "Old Lei, what's your take?" Lei Zhao stayed silent for a few seconds. Then he suddenly burst in a loud laughter. C.I. Ming frowned. "What? Is there something wrong with my proposal?" Lei Zhao rubbed his forehead, laughing uncontrollably. "Huh. This is exactly why you people sitting in offices never understand what's really happening on the ground. Want me to give you the full picture? Chinju, his ability is likely luck. Zhang Jieqi, her ability allows her to see the intel she wishes to see. And this one, Chang Mo, His power is probably connected to the restraint chains. C.I. Ming replied, if that's the case, then these three are quite exceptional talents, especially Chang'em O.I in that case. Why not transfer them directly to the Central Bureau for focused training? That would maximize their value. But Lei Zhao shook his head that, don't rush. Let me finish their backgrounds. Zhang Jieqi's background is clean, an ordinary family, nothing unusual. But the problems start with Chunju that he is not a citizen of Daxia, that he seemingly appeared in Donghai City out of nowhere, was found by a passerby, and sent to the psychiatric hospital. And Chang Mo is even more suspicious. There must be a world-class entity behind him. And from what I can tell, not an ordinary world-class. The emotional entity backing him is likely the same type as Chang Mo, meaning a world-class of an undiscovered, unclassified type. His admission to the second hospital, that was clearly arranged by this world-class being. And just a few days after he entered the hospital, the place was attacked at oh, you really think that's just a coincidence? And his so-called contribution? Was it really something that's significant? The Black Chain cult still managed to kill the old director. He merely saved some patients. Hardly enough to affect the larger situation. C.I. Ming asked in a low voice, you mean? Lei Zhao slammed his palm on the table. Exactly, that's what I mean. I suspect he is the Black Chain cult's undercover agent planted inside the Bureau. Therefore, I propose we apprehend him immediately. Meanwhile, at Donghai City First Psychiatric Hospital, Chang Mo asked Yili, have you remembered everything? Why did you create the Black Chain cult back then? And why did you try to destroy Donghai City? Yili grabbed her hair in frustration and idea. I can't remember anything. Chang Mo reminded her. That Master Zhao seemed really fixated on you. He grabbed my throat, demanding to know where you were hiding. Why? Yili quickly explained. That's because he's afraid of me. Chang Mo continued. So that cultist recognized your power as well? Yili thought for a moment. Probably. Over 10 years ago, he was just a kid, corrupted by hatred, always hovering at the edge of losing control. I didn't expect him to turn into that after all these years. She looked up and caught Chang Mo's suspicious gaze. Yili immediately pouted. Don't look at me like that, or we're on the same team. Chang Mo replied calmly. Being on the same team with someone like you. Who knows when I'll get sold out? Yili waved her hands. In a way, relax. Then her tone suddenly shifted. But I remembered something very important. Chang Mo frowned. What is it? Yili said with a grave expression. Shouldn't we run for our lives right now? Chang Mo was puzzled. Why would we run? Yili replied, I remembered the original reason behind our plan, that we came to the second hospital because of the old director. I must have had a history with her and knew what kind of person she was. With your condition, once you entered the second hospital, she would have done everything in her power to protect you. But now that she's dead, I can't trust anyone else. And no one knows how the higher-ups of Daxia will decide your fate. That's so. Running is our safest bet. Chang Mo was surprised. That old lady would really protect me? She was that nice? But the problem is, if we don't rely on the government, where do we even go? Yili hesitated. Although Zhao Yin is the current Black Chain leader, there should still be people in the cult willing to follow me, willing to die for me. Chang Mo frowned. That sounded extremely unreliable. Right then, someone knocked on the door. Chang Mo opened it and saw Dr. Lu smiling warmly. Chang Mo, how are you feeling? Dr. Lu stepped into the room. Pouring a glass of water, she said, I really didn't expect this. Back then you looked so ordinary. But during this incident, you saved so many people on behalf of the second hospital. Thank you. Chang Mo quickly replied humbly, Doctor, you're being too kind. I didn't expect any of this either. Dr. Lu suddenly changed the topic. By the way, the incident on the Emperor's ship. What exactly happened there? And what's the deal with the world-class emotional entity behind you? Chang Mo froze. He never imagined Dr. Lu already knew so much. The next moment, a hand clamped around his throat. Dr. Lu lifted him off the ground. What? You thought no one knew? You're underestimating Daxia's intelligence network. Tell me, where's the world-class behind you? She had already slipped fully into a rage state. Chang Mo struggled with all his strength, but he couldn't break free. He asked Yili desperately, What do I do? Should I expose you? Yili shouted, No, absolutely not. Just say you don't know. Chang Mo pressed, and if I do expose you, I'm innocent anyway. Yeli panicked. Chang Mo, if I die, you die. And don't forget, I was once the cult leader who tried to destroy Donghai City. If they know I exist inside you, they'll never let me go, and they'll never let you go either. Chang Mo thought for a moment. Then he looked at Dr. Liu and said, Dr. Liu, what exactly is a world class? A flicker of clarity returned to her eyes, but it was instantly replaced by fury. She slammed Chang Mo onto the floor and drove her blade into his shoulder. Still pretending, after killing Liu Jia, you fought a world class on the Emperor's ship. There were plenty of emotional entities on board. You think you can hide that from everyone? Tell me, where is the world class behind you? Yeli quickly told Chang Mo, hold on, Dr. Liu is probably just trying to intimidate you. Chang Mo answered, don't worry, I know. He turned to Dr. Liu and said, what happened on the Emperor's ship, I always thought it was a dream. When I woke up on the beach, I came straight to the second hospital. Dr. Liu drove another blade straight into his other shoulder. Lies. You walked 30 kilometers from the beach to the hospital, and every camera in Donghai City failed to capture you. What exactly were you hiding from? I don't know. I was confused. IT just felt like a voice was telling me where to go. Dr. Liu roared, do you have any idea? The very day you were admitted, the Emotion Management Bureau came to take you. It was the director who protected you with everything she had. She didn't want you to go astray. And she was wrong about you. You're the Black Shane cult's mole. You helped them attack the second hospital. You helped them kill the director. Damn you. Dr. Liu raised her blood scythe, murderous intent overflowing. A surge of mortal danger washed over him. Chang Mo slid sideways, narrowly dodging the fatal strike. As he got up, his heart pounded wildly. Dr. Liu truly intended to kill him. She was completely overtaken by her emotions. Yeli warned him, careful, this doctor is strong, stronger than anyone you've met before. You must make her regain her reason. Chang Mo calculated quickly. This was his only chance. Use fire to block her vision, then rush in and inject reason directly into her mind. But when he tried to release the flames, he froze in shock. The fire wouldn't manifest. What should have been burning flames had turned into a sticky, jelly-like mass. At the same moment, Dr. Liu charged toward him in a fury. The red scythe of death grew larger and larger in his eyes. A university professor was hung up in midair just to broadcast his defecation live. Viewers in the live chat instantly recognized him. It was Professor Wong. The purple-haired man holding the phone taunted, Professor Wong, your students recognized you. Congrats, Professor Wong panicked. You bastard. Let me go. The purple-haired man watched the scrolling comments and mocked. Can't hold it anymore. Huh. Soon your entire university will know. Not just co-workers and family. Everyone who knows you. Hearing this, Professor Wong lost control completely. Please, let me go. Please. And with his emotions spiraling, the entity above his head swelled larger and larger. A man holding a letter asked, how long is this going to take? I've got an important message. The purple-haired man replied casually, almost there. Relax, I fed him some laxatives. He won't last long. He continued taunting, a grand professor performing like this in front of thousands of people. What will everyone think of you? Truly shameless, Professor Wong. At that moment, the professor couldn't hold it anymore. A series of wet, explosive sounds echoed in the room. The live chat erupted instantly. OMG, amazing spray from the big professor. Holy crap, this is insane. The comment section exploded in hysteria. But the livestream link was suddenly cut off, because at that moment, the emotional entity on the professor's head had fully completed its metamorphosis. The next instant, an even larger emotional monster appeared and devoured the freshly evolved one. Only then did the purple-haired man say, all right, let's talk about why you came to me. The man with the hat handed over a file. These 3 are the targets, preferably alive, but if not, dead is fine. Just make sure their emotional cores are retrieved. The purple-haired man scanned the file. All street-level nobodies, except this one with glasses, suspected city level. The hat-wearing man nodded. Correct. Also, we suspect 2 world-class entities are protecting him. The purple-haired man was stun point 2 world-class protectors. That's insane. And you're giving this job to me? The man replied, "The client has a powerful background in O1, but you can take this job." The purple-haired man thought for a moment, then tossed the file aside. "Find out if there's no difficulty. How would I show my excellence? The first psychiatric hospital of Donghai isn't far. You'll have their emotional cores soon." At the same moment, in the first psychiatric hospital, Dr. Liu charged at Chang Mo with her blood scythe. The deathly red blade grew rapidly in Chang Mo's pupils. In the next moment, blood splattered. Chang Mo crashed heavily onto the floor. Dr. Liu stood there, gasping for breath. Her hands trembled, just a little more, and her scythe would have taken Chang Mo's head clean off. It turned out that the rational force Chang Mo released at the last moment had still touched Dr. Liu's head, which was why she managed to stop her strike at the very last second. The blood surging around her body also began to contract, gradually pulling back into Dr. Liu's body. Dr. Liu asked blankly, "What did you do to me?" Chang Mo answered calmly, "I restored your reason." Dr. Liu fell silent for a few seconds, then suddenly burst into tears. I'm sorry. I couldn't control my emotions. I never really wanted to kill you. I failed the director's expectations." Chang Mo went silent. The shift was so drastic he didn't even know how to react. Then Dr. Liu explained everything. The higher-ups had argued endlessly about what to do with him. Some insisted he was a spy and should be arrested, imprisoned, interrogated immediately. Others believed he wasn't and should be observed further. In the end, the highest leader of the Central Emotional Authority made the final decision. Chang Mo will be placed entirely under her responsibility. Chang Mo pointed at himself, stunned. The highest leader personally decided to protect me. Someone as insignificant as me? Dr. Liu looked a bit embarrassed. "Maybe it has something to do with me. Anyway, the final decision about you was handed to me. Before she died, the director asked me to take good care of you. But since the intel suggested you really might be a spy, I wanted to test you. I didn't expect I'd almost kill you." As she said this, she burst into tears again. I failed the director." Chang Mo hurried to comfort her. "Dr. Liu, it's fine, really. Thank you. Anyway, I've already reported my decision to the higher-ups. The results should come soon. Also, there's something else. You and I will both join the Donghai Emotional Authority's pursuit unit. We'll investigate the attack on Ward B. Not just you. Jechi and Chunju will join too. The Black Chain Cult, the mole inside the Donghai Authority, and everyone hiding in the shadows. Chang Mo will drag every one of them out and give justice to those who died." After speaking, Dr. Liu opened the door. "All right, I'll go explain things to Jechi and Chunju. I'll come back later." The door closed, and the room fell silent again. Chang Mo looked at his hands, lost in thought. Why has my power turned into this? I can't release flames, can't form crystals. It's soft, like jelly. Yeli stared at his hand, puzzled that something's off. Getting soft is normal, but why can't it get hard at all? Then her eyes lit up. I get IT this stage, it becomes soft too. Chang Mo was speechless. "What are you even talking about?" Yeli covered her mouth and giggled. What did you think I meant?" Then she explained properly. "Simply put, you're hungry." "Hungry?" Chang Mo looked confused. Yeli burst out laughing. "Haha, exactly. Emotionals need food too. If you don't eat enough, of course it won't get hard." Chang Mo went speechless again. "Why is that funny? Don't you think you're a little too excited yourself?" Yeli waved her hand. Okay. Seriously, an emotional keeps consuming energy just by existing, even without fighting. It's like how people have to eat every day, and the stronger the emotional, the more energy it burns, like how a bodybuilder eats way more than a normal person. For you, the will chains from the second hospital are your emotional energy source. Yeli continued, "In the final battle at the second hospital, you absorbed a huge amount of rational energy and almost lost control. The fact that you stabilized means you actually leveled up. You're now a stronger type of emotional. And the stronger you get, the more energy you burn each day." Chang Mo asked, "So, as long as absorb the rational energy from the will chains, my power will return to normal?" Yeli replied, "That's the idea, but it's not that easy. In this era where rationality is scarce, rational energy is hard to come by, and your appetite is way bigger now. Before, One chain could sustain you for 2 months if you didn't fight. Now, maybe 3 weeks. And worse, if you stay hungry for too long, at best your strength won't show. At worst your power will regress, your mind will fade, and eventually you'll dissolve into nothing. Just like me. Did you forget? I became like this because I couldn't find enough emotional energy.